Well, Happy New Year, everybody around the world. For those of you who are awake, I don't know why I just got so dark. I'm pretty sure I had more light for a minute ago. Anyway, I just wanted to take a minute and sort of catch up on this year. It's an interesting year, but I think next year is going to be more interesting on so many levels. And first, to address some of your concerns, on so many that I'm an idiot and will now kill my own feed. First of all, no, I don't think it's an alien invasion with the drones. No, no. I also don't think it's Project Bluebeam. So just having that, you can rest easier, hopefully. What have we got coming next year? I don't know if we should start with looking forward or start reflecting on this year. This year, my interest in World War One and World War One fortresses have grown. I will say, I just keep finding World War One more and more interesting, and parallels to World War Two, which could lead to parallels to today's events and how things are unfolding, are really staggering when you start looking into them. And that's one of the things I opened my eyes to over the past couple of years is how interesting it is, how now we finally have begun to openly talk. Also, mainstream historians are talking about how World War One was not just the evil Germans' fault, how World War Two was not just Hitler's fault, and how we started actually involving Stalin in this, and how the Russians. I'm always been a little bit on the fence of if the Russians actually were um, going to invade Germany, and I've now come to the conclusion that they probably were within weeks of Barbarossa's opening, and it was a preemptive attack. I also would like to spend next year breaking that down, including the Russians' capabilities leading up to 1941, because they were quite a bit more advanced than most people have led to believe, including the Russian post-war historians and propagandists and so on, that downplayed how ready they actually were for war, but they were situated for a different war, for an aggressive war, which was why so many troops and trains were lined up right on the borders, right opposite the German formations in Poland. That's one of the things I would like to do this year. We are absolutely going to, yes, I'm absolutely in the Oval Office because Biden couldn't find it, and we figured we needed somebody who can actually put two sentences together in the Oval Office just for a minute. They'll never let me in there. But speaking of next year, I don't know if you heard, don't know, but there was an election over here some months ago. You may have seen some blue-haired young women running around screaming and shouting that they're all going to die. Don't worry about them. They are insane. They're not going to die. But there was an election here, and gee whiz, elections matter. One of the things that hopefully matters to us is that Trump have made many statements that he will release the Kennedy papers, the Martin Luther King papers. And I know Robert Kennedy. He works out in my gym. And I have, of course, written the new administration to pretty please make the document dump release incorporate World War II files. I don't want to go as far as to tell them to incorporate 9/11 files, because that might seem as I'm a little crazy, because we still don't talk about that one. But there are World War II files in England and America that are classified until 100 years after World War II ended, which is ridiculous. The Himmler files, the Hess files in England won't be released until 2045, which is a pretty clear indication that they're obviously hiding something. But if Trump is going to follow up on his promise to release dump documents, it will be very nice if he would take and incorporate the World War One and World War Two files. There are World War One files that are still classified, which is ridiculous. And let's just be honest. It's not exactly like um, the Kennedys are particularly big fond of the CIA, and it's not exactly like the CIA have done freedom of speech around the world lately, along with the State Department, a whole lot of favors. So one would think that in the hoping of settling scores, maybe releasing all the CIA post World War II files with the wheelings and dealings of the various German entities and the SS, post-war SS, might be a dig in the side of them. So maybe that would actually be this might be the time to get some documents out and get some things solved. Certainly, that's what I'm hoping for will happen. There's a lot of things I'll hope that will happen for this administration. Damn it, Ian! Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go have myself another cup of coffee. I can't give you. I can't respond. I can't say. I give you a smiley face on this one since I'm not looking through YouTube. I will later. Yeah, thank you. Anyway, that is. I'm going to pull out all the stops I can to see if we can get some of the stuff out and done. And you're right. This might be the only chance. We will see. There's Martin Luther King's assassination is another one. There will be. It is not black and white. And I also wonder about the other Kennedy's assassination by Sirhan, which I thought is very interesting and somewhat spurious. So we'll see. But I will do everything I can to get the new administration to help us get some of the historical files out that we really, really want. Because this is the chance. And hopefully there'll be more than 4 years of, what was it Humphrey would have said, open government. I don't know if some of you are old enough to have watched the old British series of Yes, Prime Minister. Machine, take your time. I got this. It's good. It's New Year's Eve. Get drunk like normal people would at this time. Yes, Prime Minister is a brilliant series about how bureaucrats are running the minister, not the other way around. I always enjoy that series because it is true as ever. And we will see what the next 4 years will show for Europe and freedom of speech around the world. But anyway, I'm hoping we can just stick to history and get some of the stuff out that we would like to come out. See, that was the political hope for, and like I said, I'm going to break down a little bit more of what came out for about what is coming out more of World War II and how that war really happened, and how Stalin was far more involved. And a little bit the same thing about World War One, where if you really start breaking down who said what and how and pushed for things, it wasn't really the Germans. Yes, the German foreign minister was partially involved in this. And hang on for a minute, people. I'm doing a live stream. What can I do for? I am talking to a couple hundred people around the world on camera. Yes. What do you want? Happy New Year to you too. Yes, of course. Where else would it be? Hey, bird. So, as you can clearly tell, I am at work. It's a busy life here at the White House. Anyway, well, like brother work, I'm going to be cooking for a bunch of people after this. We will see if we can do a patriotism. All right, Peter, you open that door. What I would like to see for the next couple of years is I would like to see patriotism in every country. I would like to see American patriotism. I would like to see Danish patriotism. I would love to see Polish patriotism. And dear God, how I love the Polish. I don't know if any of you Polish guys are here. I love the Polish. You have a minister that I just adore. I would like to see German and Austrian patriotism, but of course, saying that makes you a borderline Nazi already there. you really need to, every country, you need to remember where you came from. Your you need to start standing up for your traditions, for who you are, and for your women and children. And there will be on my other channel I'm going to keep this nice and positive because this Lost Battlefield, we're positive people here. Um, on my other channel, there will be the next couple of days, a talk about how the Western governments and their war on their own women, and it is driving me mad how that is, how every government in the West seems to have completely neglected and forgotten the safety of their women and children, and it is disgusting what has happened. But you get what you vote for. Maybe it's time for things to change in that event. However, this is not about politics. This is about history. You will also have noticed, and if you haven't noticed, you damn well better take a look at the shop, because we're here. It's linked here on YouTube. We have a new shop and some really cool designs. Actually, let's face it, my Lost Battlefield design with the cannon, I thought was a great idea. However, Mike, who's running around out there, have designed some really cool Lost Battlefield logos, and there will be a Make Prussia Great Again T-shirt. The Hail Odin T-shirts are back up, and there will be other T-shirts with cool logos. There will be my own favorite brand, Alpha Male, and just because alpha males created history, and now all you women can get mad at me, but alpha men protect women. That's what they do. So I'm going to do a celebration to alpha men. Machine, you're not going to make it. Keep eating. So there will be more interesting, cool shirt designs. And if you have any ideas, you let me know. You just send me some ideas, and maybe we'll put it on a shirt or a backdrop. And also, there will be more competitions, because that was just way too much fun. Like we had the Lost Battlefield Dog of the Year. There's going to be more. And you better start running your cell phone cameras. And I swear to God, when you film stuff, do it this way, not that way. Yes, my cover is worn. My phone is old. Get us some landscape mode when you vote. I don't know what competition we're going to have. However, and of course, when we have competitions, you win Lost Battlefield stuff from the shop, clothing or whatever you want. So I'm seeing there will be competitions of more cute dogs, your cutest all right, wrong word, coolest military memorabilia, maybe your coolest personal firearm. There might be one for your cutest single sister. Anyway, sorry, that was personal insert. There will be competitions coming this year. Maybe the coolest location around you, the best picture of a bunker or something, and they will all go up to a vote. So, and then I think ideally we should do a competition every month. I think we should. And you're gonna make me do the cat, aren't you? You evil people. Who, I mean, maybe the killer squirrel. I understand now that the British squirrels have started eating meat. They're now carnivores, which is really scary. Anyway, coolest military radio collection. So you're gonna win. Brett, you just want a free T-shirt because you're gonna be the only one. You're gonna be the only one who's gonna enter. Gwyneth, still love that name. Anyway, so anyway, there will be competitions coming, so pay attention because it's gonna have to be fun. And what else are we gonna get? What do we got? The cat's on holiday. All right. I will reluctantly relent, and there will be a cat competition as well. Insert anything I'm thinking here. What else we got? There's another thing that may start happening from this month. Now you're all going to be warned. It is not something I really ever wanted to do, But considering YouTube revenue is in the dumpster here, and I don't know if the ad blockers are killing revenue, or it's just because that's the way things go. Especially in the summer, there's practically no revenue on YouTube. I'm going to start taking advertisements or sponsorships, which means there'll be 60-second ads in the first 6 minutes of the whatever episode we're doing. And um, I have I've talked to a couple of brokers of those, and I said, well, I would prefer to do commercials for things I actually stand by myself, things I use, whether it be flashlights, military equipment, VPNs. I do use a couple of VPNs and things I use. So I will hopefully start doing sponsorship ads. So you're going to have to bear with the 60 seconds because, well, I got to keep the lights on. And as you can tell, it's New Year's Eve. I'm at work. That gives you an idea of how much I work. And yes, I do need another camera. And yes, we are planning, depending how much I can save up. This has been a rough 6 months with cars and dental bills and everything else. To shoot a feature film or to begin to shoot a feature. Um, for instance, we will be filming in Poland. We'll be filming with Roger in France. He's going to, he will be playing a role in the movie. Joseph P. Farrell will play a role in the movie. So we will be filming in different places around Europe. First we've got to finish the script, and then we're going to sort of put together how we're doing this. Going to do it all on our own. A little conspiracy action movie. There's more World War II films coming, but we're going to do this. And we're going to sprinkle it with some of the actual conspiracies that may be real. But basically an action movie. I'll be filming in Ukraine as well, regardless how it's going out there. Just because, and probably a day in Norway, depending. So I will post as much in advance. I don't know. Do you guys see when I post a post on YouTube? I put up posts like usually a day or two in advance of an episode, or questions, or do you read those? Do you see them the majority on Facebook, on the Discord? Where do the most of you see the posts that I post? Are you actually seeing them on YouTube? Because that's the YouTube wall is usually where I post posts for everything. So it's like for notifications, always have to hit the button twice so the bell is on. But I try to post things there. That's kind of what I'm hoping for, that the YouTube wall is visible, because I will, like, we start, if I'm filming in, like, say I'm filming in France in a given week or month, I will post it. We are here. We're filming here around this time. If anybody want to come out and do something for the movie, if I'm casting, I'll put it out to you guys. If you're around and you have an acting ability, then this is where we will be. So we can all come out and do some movie. But also, this movie, I haven't looked for investors. We're just gonna do it in house because I have an idea and I kind of want to use some of the locations I found, even for a modern movie. Outstanding. All right. Yeah, I always post on Facebook and YouTube, and of course Patreon get one and Discord gets one. But yeah, I just want to make sure that they're actually doing OnlyFans. Yes, I'll do the saddest OnlyFans account in the world. There'll be me talking about Hitler. I'll put on my ceremonial mustache. When I get very old and skinny, if I ever get old and skinny, I do want to play Hitler in a movie. It'll obviously be the last role I ever get. But anyway, yeah, we have a Discord. Lost Battlefield members and Patreon members. We have a Discord. Dress up like everyone Brown. That would probably get me more roles. I was thinking we could dress up Magda like Eva Braun. I'm pretty sure she probably has the outfit. History's getting a bad deal. I think it might have something to do with people not even being sure what is real and not. And I think one of the things that has happened with the media over this these past years, where we have seen just how dishonest they actually are, and just how bad the how much they actually lie. And whether you're pro Trump or not doesn't matter. This, but they have lied to a degree also about the flu and other things. It has come out to a staggering degree how dishonest mainstream and legacy media is, to the point where no one listens to them anymore. They're all in a deep panic because of it. And I think that spills over onto history learning, because it's the same official, what can we call them, institution that is giving us information. So now people are questioning everything. And I think it's healthy to question everything. It might be a problem for if it is a problem if there's actually a legitimate concern for something that people will deliberately not listen, myself included. Anything I now hear, I have for years and years and years, I picked up on this over 10 years ago. I'll tell you when I picked up on how I can't, again, I don't want to talk about, make this about politics, but for some, because I was listening to NPR, which is a very leftist thing, network, which I found I just used to listen to radio news in the car, and I heard this was 2016. I heard Trump do a 1 minute thing. I didn't know anything about him, or I didn't really pay attention to politics, and he did a 1 minute talk about something, and then the narrator came on afterwards and quoted what he said completely wrong. And I remember sitting in my car. I was sitting in my car on Ralph's parking lot, and I heard this 1 minute, and I heard the narrator, what he said about what he said afterwards. And I thought to myself, oh my God, that is a complete distortion of what the man said. What else is there? That was sort of my waking up moment to, like, damn. And if you see it in history, you see so much history being portrayed wrong or being misportrayed, to the point where laws have been passed deliberately to make you not allowed to ask questions about it. That is all very, very concerning. And I think now that the whole mainstream media is losing on people, the same thing will happen to mainstream historians, which might make everybody start questioning things. And I think that's healthy. It's very healthy that they start questioning things. Just look at again, Himmler Hess. Why can't we be told? Why can't we be told about the British communications before Pearl Harbor? Leading up to Pearl Harbor, the British naval communications in the Pacific has been classified still, because it may, I can't remember the formulation they did, but there was something. The more you classify things that doesn't need to be, the more people question why. And again, why are the 9/11 papers classified? Why were the Kennedy? There's so many things. We have papers back to World War I. They're still classified. So maybe it's time, and maybe this is the time where there's going to be a battle for right and wrong, for freedom of speech and censorship of speech. Like the UN, they want to censor speech. They came out and said that some weeks ago. And I believe freedom of speech 100%. Yeah, no, you don't want to. Obviously, you're not going to start posting child porn or anything derogatory. That would be insane. That's not what we talk about. We talk about express your opinion, express your thoughts, express how you feel about things without persecution. You can't do that in England. You can't do it in Germany. You can't do it in Austria. There's many countries, there's many dictatorial countries that you cannot express your opinion and your thoughts about what's going on. which is very troubling, which is one of the things I hope we will start to see um, over the next years, that the battle of freedom of speech before we descend into George Orwell's 1984 is a real thing. So let's see where that goes. But that is something we all need to keep in mind, that freedom of information, freedom of speech, open information flow top down is not always a given. In fact, it's never been a given. So now we have to fight for it. And again, elections are coming. Think about who you vote for and ask them about these things. Ask them how important freedom of speech is. Ask them what they're going to do for it. What are they going to do for the safety of women and children? But that's my pet peeve, that somebody really needs to start banging that drum, because it is incredibly frustrating to see. Anyway, now said, why you share the Discord for only paying members to hear. Oh God, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Discord is usually only for the members, because then we can just talk freely, and we don't really. Wait, speaking of Discord, did not somebody have pictures of a Japanese beer bottle he found off the coast that should have been posted on Discord yesterday? I seem to remember the day before yesterday. Anyway, but yeah, well, then, there's got to be some perks. And tomorrow, by the way, there'll be an episode about a really cool little bunker in the middle of nowhere, or it's a rock, or it's a tunnel, or it's a defense. You'll see. But it's New Year, so you're all going to be, drunk or hungover or crawling out of bed barely. So I figured I want to do a New Year's episode so you get something to wake up to. 10 o'clock, I guess, my time, 10 o'clock. So evening Europe here. And then I am battling for an episode for next Sunday, if I can make it in time with all the tunnel system and even sea and cement, what we talked about, thorium and the tunnels. So I told you we're going to go through the whole thing, and the third tunnel system up there that none of you have heard of, which is really interesting, in the mountain there. Some very big things in there, speaking of artifacts. I want to get that ready for Sunday. If not, we're going to one of the biggest underground fortresses of World War I that turned into World War II and Cold War. Huge tunnel system in the mountain, all abandoned up in the Italian Alps. Really, really fascinating. That, at least that episode is done, so I'm certain I'm going to get something for you Sunday. But I'd like to do a last Nazi secret on as the first of the year. I actually wrote for Mark Felton if we shouldn't do a chat, because we seem to be paddling down the same roads and the same rivers and looking at the same paperwork. And I think, why not? We should. Dawn, you're very welcome. I don't know what else we would do. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to do, just my own. Back in the day, a million years ago, when I was young and interesting and competing in bodybuilding, I had a little gym wear design. I made gym wear, and I sold gym wear and do stuff. What else are you going to do when you're 18 and competing? So I had a little brand, and because of how the war on men, I am coming to England. Roger and I are filming. Roger and I and Drakiniefeld are filming some castles in England this year. By the way, Drakiniefeld lives out there as well, and I was like, oh hell, of course. And he promised to show up as a knight, by the way. So I wanted to do a little clothing brand again, parallel to Lost Battlefields. You'll see the designs are getting cooler, but also called Alpha Male, sort of out of the guise that alpha males created history or wrote history, just to stick it to those who want to feminize men, because men got to be men, because men has to be manly men so they can keep women and children safe, because that is the only damn thing we have to do as men, is protect those physically weaker than us, and nothing else matters. If we wake up in the morning with that single mindset to do the right thing by those around us, that is all we have to do. And I have zero tolerance for cultures or people who prey on women and children or dogs or animals. And that's very simple. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with the Alpha Male series, not to mention, pissing off anyone with blue or green hair. uh, so that's kind of where that's going to come from. Don't know where that's going to go, but we're going to give it a shot. But I also we have to do what we can do to make our thing. I remember that when I was a kid, I grew up watching MASH, and I never really, again, never realized the politics of it. But I remember Alan Alda's character, Hawkeye, said something in MASH that always resonated with me. When somebody asked him if he was trying to save the world, he said, "No, just my little corner, the little corner that you can tap, that you can touch, the little corner, the little circle around you. You can make that better." And if we all do that, women and children would be better. Yeah, but and I mean, sometimes the old time sentiments. Hans Jensen, that's paperclip. Won. Well, there's a lot of these dudes that won Nobel prizes also before. I think Deepno won one as well, didn't he? Lost Belgium come out to us. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, every weekend something will come out, unless I'm stuck in some place where there's no internet. I try to last year when I travel. I try to finish 8, 9, 10 episodes for when I'm traveling, because believe it or not, when you're stuck in a small time motel somewhere with wireless that's iffy, uploading a full episode takes longer than the time I will be staying in that given location. So I have to try to prep everything in advance. But bar anything weird, something going wrong, there will be an episode every weekend, as always. You should know by now. And I always try to put the episodes at 10 o'clock in the afternoon here, which is then what, 7, 8 o'clock in Europe. So everyone's sort of awake. If there are other times that you would rather prefer, where everybody is more awake, I have a very specific request for Mrs. Fucking later this year. In fact, she doesn't know what it is because I haven't asked her yet. I'm still mad that she got married without inviting me to the wedding. I mean, the only reason we get a dress uniform is to wear it for weddings and funerals. So, but yes, I'm going to reach out to her about something very specific, and I'm also going to reach out to everybody about something specific on that one. We're going to go grave digging, to give you an idea. Too big. Hang on for a minute. Yes. What's up, Toasty? Well, would you like this? I'm doing a live stream with the same my New Year's stream. We have a glorious Cuban here who doesn't want to be on camera. I take it. Well, you're hiding, but he makes Cuban coffee, which keeps me alive. Which keeps me alive for you. Thanks, Bird. Love you. And if you never had Cuban coffee before, you must. And if besides, have to be made by a Cuban. One day, I'm going to corner him up in the kitchen, and I'm going to actually film him make this, because it is 50% coffee and 50% sugar. I think there might be water in here. I'm not sure. But goddamn, it's good. And since I've been working all day, and after that I got to go home and cook for 10 people, I may as well start drinking coffee now. Also, oh God, I love that man. He's the most rabid anti-communist on the planet. No, seriously, I have to stop drinking coffee because my stomach is complaining. Cooking show. YouTube demonetized all my cooking and travel shows on the other channel. That's why no one ever sees them anymore. Bastards. Good. Skeptical negative. Yeah, I like it. Good. I just want to make sure that the notifications for those are actually coming out. Cuban cigarettes as opposed to Cuban cigars. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm waiting for my cigars to be delivered. They've been, speaking of how DEI made nothing work, Took the American Postal Service and UPS 2 months to back and forth and deliver a box of cigars that they were sent from Chicago. Ah, goody, goody, goody. So there. And now, let's see, what else haven't I covered now that the coffee is kicking in? But yes, I'm working on a couple of last Nazi, but no, the coffee's not working at all. The other channel is My Road with Tino Strockman. Like I said, they demonetized it, and I complained and complained and filed and complained and bitched and moaned, and they actually lied to me. They said, no, this is these are all the food and travel episodes. I moved them all over there, re-edited them, but moved them all over there. They said, no, this is content from that was on from that I was taken from multiple channels. I said, no, it's not. It's on mine. I own them. What other channels? They wouldn't tell me. And this went on for a year, and I bitched and moaned at them, asked for reviews. They wouldn't do it. Now they won't even take the reapplication. And it's all my content, it's all mine. I own everything. It's all original, and they just wouldn't have it. I have no idea why. So I'm saying, right, fine. We put up on My Road Speakers Corner, where you see Mike and I. We talked about hackers, about a whole lot of more contemporary things, news things that doesn't belong on lost battlefields. And Elon Musk really does need to buy YouTube. He really does. Somebody does. But anyway, so on My Road, we can talk honestly about politicians. And it's interesting because a lot of people talk about censorship and YouTube. And I see a lot of people like, oh, we can't have this. We can't show dead people. We can't. It's not David. What is it, David? I can't remember his name. He does a stream on the Ukraine news every day. There's always complaining we can't show if there's war dead or explosions or a car blows up or this or that. And I was a little worried when I did the episode last week on Dieppe. Actually, this was this week on Dieppe. And there's more to the Dieppe landings than I put in the episode. I just wanted to do a nice, clean overview of it, and then we can get into the weeds on it. But it's very hard to do the Dieppe landing without having dead people in the photos because they are littered everywhere. And I never got any, and no censorship, no hits, no nothing on that. A lot of historians, they complain, oh, no, they censor out images of Hitler or historians or swastikas. I never had any of that. Never had any censorship on that. Last Nazi Secret, just by the mere default that it has Nazi in the title. There's probably an image of some of the leading personalities in there, probably a swastika here and there. Sometimes it gets flagged for review. After review, it goes through. I never had any issues with any of that. So I wonder why some people are on YouTube are taking such a overly cautious way of going about their videos, where they blot out images of people or Hitler speaking. They just blot it out. So, well, if you don't think you can use footage, you put the footage in and then you blot it out, so you have a gray cloud for 30 seconds. Or you're talking, well, then use some different footage. But I don't understand why they have this problem, because I never had. So I don't think it's as bad. But also, it is all defendable, in as long as it has a historical context. And Happy New Year to you too. So there are a lot of people have more issues with YouTube than I have. I don't understand why My Road was an issue. That I just don't understand, because it was all fun and games, food, travel show. And they kept saying, no, it was reused. It was from other channels. It was multiple other users used this. It was all horseshit. It's a complete lie. Never. It was all my stuff. So anyway, I have no idea where that issue came from, but it is what it is. And restore car stuff. Serge, a question. Yes, you should have a YouTube channel if you do that. I hear classic cars are rather cheap these days. It's coming down in price more and more and more and more and more. And I keep thinking I should have a 1945 Chevy Business Coupe that has been modernized inside. So you come across one here in America, let me know. Well, yeah, I know Zuckerberg. I stopped advertising with Facebook many years ago when they let people run all over me by using my own acting photos, claiming they were other than what they were. Those are like, all right, if they won't even hear complaint, if they won't let people do that on Facebook, they can go things and things to their own things. So I'll just stick to YouTube. We are preparing several episodes for TV, a couple of series for TV as well. That should start being sold. You won't see them until they show up on streaming or TV. And I have put one of the episodes on the Patreon of the TV episodes to get your reviews, and I really appreciate that because I clipped them all out, sent them to our distributor and to the editors for morale boost, so they could see what the comments were. So that's very much appreciated. I will probably do that again because they're going to be for sale. They're not going to be on the channel. And it's not information you haven't seen on mine. It's just condensed and with a lot more graphics and things like that. Mike is helping me with some graphics and some ideas for the episodes. Find somebody younger who's more technically savvy than I am. I just want to crawl through things. And I have an idea, and Magda's obviously drunk somewhere in Czechia right now, so she's not paying attention. But as I was editing the last episode where she had her camera, talking to her camera, doing one thing, now I was doing my thing. I think we're going to let the woman run wild with her own camera and comment through plays, through locations, and from her point of view, seeing things different than I do. And then we'll see if we can marry the two. I'm going to try to do something a little bit more fun. And if everything else fails, we'll get a couple of playmates in high heels running through the bunkers. So, if everything else fails. Chris, I will absolutely be doing the historic places in the US. I'm just not in a hurry to do it because they're not going anywhere. And I figure at some point in time, I will get older and I will want to start looking at things closer to home. And as opposed to, I'm going to try to do all the things that are complicated or may disappear or collapsing around the world first. Because let's face it, if I don't fall off a mountain or something, I will maybe get older at some point in time and not be so inclined to crawl around mountains or through tunnels. So we'll do the more level forts later in life. But I really would like to do more, and I'm waiting for Joseph's book to come out and get it in a couple of weeks on the Civil War, because there's a lot more to the Civil War than mainstream history has been telling, and especially the way it's been portrayed and been used for politics. So that's going to be very interesting. Oh yeah. So anyway, we're going to live in an interesting time, and we'll see. And and don't ask me what's going to happen in Ukraine because I really don't know. All my friends in Ukraine's asking me. My Russian friends are asking me. I don't know. And Kennedy's not telling me. And I don't know. I don't see how this is going to be resolved in a nice way for the people. I don't really care how the politicians in either one of those places they like it. I would like to see the people on the ground on both sides no longer get killed over this, but it has to be fair, whatever that is nowadays. Anyway, but like I said, I don't know. Yes, I have to get to the restaurant. Wish you have a basement in that restaurant. And let me see what else. Simon, honestly, I hope so too. I would like to see this end, but I don't see how it can. Uh, Russia's not going to give up what they've taken. Your Ukrainian government can't really give up what's been taken from them. So where do you go from there? I always said, and don't mock me because I'm not a fan of the UN and I'm not a fan of the EU, given what they have turned into. However, some sort of peacekeeping troops in the occupied territories, the territories the Russians have occupied, have them have free elections. I just don't know where those peacekeeping troops would come from, because pretty much every country on earth, short of a few, have sided with Ukraine. So the Russians probably won't accept them. The ones who've sided with Russia, the Ukrainians probably won't accept. So I don't know where the peacekeepers would come from at this point that would be acceptable to all. So it's pretty shit. And what's really bothering me is I really, really wanted to go to Russia. I wanted to spend a lot of time in Russia, crawling around the battlefields and the museums and the archives. And I don't see when that can be. I know there's Americans visiting Moscow. I got American friends that in and out of Russia all the time. They say it's perfectly safe and perfectly fine. I wouldn't feel safe going to Russia right now because of my military affiliation or because, well, I've been to Ukraine talking about that. And that's just shit because I really would like to see Russia. So I guess we'll see what we'll see. I don't think Europe have to worry about the Russians going to war and invading Europe. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to turn into World War III. I really don't. I don't think Putin is going to start invading Latvia, Estonia, or Finland. They're going to do the Cold War thing and be a little bully with their ships and do little stupid stuff. But it's not going to escalate into a world conflagration. I don't think. They don't have the resources to do that. And Putin is not that. He's not that. He's a smart man. He's not going to do something that stupid, um, for whatever it is. And no, so we will see what we will see. But anyway, Darcy, you're absolutely correct. Europe has far more to worry about within the confines of the EU Parliament or the UN Parliament, the Davos crowd, and those people. I worry about Europe because of the policies. And if you try to leave, look what the EU's done to England, to Britain. It's very sad what has become, but like I've always said, and apparently Mark Felton agrees with me, or we are in agreement, that the EU is the Fourth Reich, and in policy, and now they're starting with their censorships and the government control, and the UN is backing this. Like I said, I hope from here, maybe the next 4 years, can get a little bit of common sense into European politics. Maybe. But again, it depends on who you vote for. Cold beer, that wouldn't be bad. Watching the stream. I thought he said steamed rice. I need to sleep more. I thought you said you're drinking beer and watching the steamed rice. I'm like, hell are you doing that for? I mean, no, like I said, the last EU politicians I said, no, you are the Nazis. You are the ones that are behaving exactly like what you always said the Nazis did. Colonialism was over. Oh, please, could we? Yeah. I do need to sleep more. I really do. But anyway, there was actually one question I got. talking. There's one question I got on my Facebook, Hal. I got a question that I said I was going to answer on my next stream. And since I have obviously nothing to do right now, I'm at work, so obviously I have nothing to do. Where was the question? Damn, who sent that to me? God damn it. Is that you, Darcy? Damn it. I thought I had a question I wanted to ask about. Philip? No. We'll get some really cool stuff coming from Poland, WW1 as well. Maybe I don't want a Willys. I want something. Have you seen those ones? Have you seen the weather out here? No, I want something that's closed in that I can go across the country in. Damn it. Frank, was it you? No, it wasn't you either. Bloody hell. All right, well, I wasn't really prepared for it anyway. Now I can't find it. See, that's why I never respond to comments, because I need to. Yes, we do. And she is coming back in the next episode. I was going to take her just because she's getting drunk in Pilsen or something right now. Okay, as she should be. Somebody needs to have a life. And there's some. Yeah, no, I like Willie's car. Well, the Willie's car is not bad. I just like the Chevy Business Coupe because it likes big front fenders, and you stick a modern engine in it. Yeah, I mean, in Corruptus, I'm saying that the European. I mean, if you want to do that, you can't deny the heritage. No, it's absolutely not meant to hurt you. It is meant to. Okay, you're fine. We go there. Who founded the European Union? Where did it come from? Who was the first general secretary of the EEC? Okay. What did he do during the Second World War? Okay. No, I'm not talking about the people living in Europe. I'm talking about the organization of itself. The European Union is a top-heavy bureaucracy to financially control and operate all European countries within itself. The European Union was conceptualized in 1942 by Heinrich Himmler and Walter Hallstein. Walter Hallstein became the first general secretary of the EEC, which is the predecessor to the European Union. It was all about how to govern this huge territory of the conglomeration of European countries as one whole financial union. Then it became an economic union, then it became a defense union, became a military union, then became a police union. Now the European Union is all governed exactly the way Heinrich Himmler envisioned it to be. It was founded by a number of former Nazi politicians and lawyers that was all revamped into the 1955 EEC. The history, the legacy, and right now the operation of the top-heavy government of the European Union is the National Socialist construct. Nothing to do with the people. In fact, it has little to do with the people at all, because the people to the European Union doesn't matter. This is a top-heavy bureaucracy that are dictatorial powers that are not elected, that are telling people how to live, what to breathe, what to eat, how to eat. No, the Nazis didn't leave. They all changed clothes. And most of the ones who started the founding fathers of the EEC in 1955 are former National Socialists. And most of them were in Adenauer's government. And I will be happy to one day do a very long episode on that. And it has been done. A lot of people have done that. Mark Felton done that as well. So that's still the truth. And do you like the way the European Union is governing its people? It was a good idea. I'm not saying it was a bad idea. It was a good idea initially, but that idea has long departed and turned into something else. You cannot have unelected people dictate to an entire population how many, I got a bogey, how many foreigners they should take in, and how how they should live. You cannot have that. You can have if you want to have a democracy, the European Union is not a democracy. These people pass laws constantly that you have no say over. And that is where the problem is. That is where the dictatorial heritage comes in. Anyway, that was not the rant I wanted on New Year's Eve, but you make me defend the European Union, which is very hard to do. Are you checking on my bogey, by the way? God damn it, get back to it. I have a bogey. Let me know what to do about it, or I should just open fire. Anyway, so there. Ausgezeichnet. I'm also. Well, it is New Year's. Hello. Some of us are working. Anyway, what I was going to say. Anyway, Machine wanted to say hi. Where are you? Machine, are you in private? Damn it, where are you? Of course you're not in private. You can't be here. How the hell do I do that? I don't know. It's gonna. Son of a bitch. Really? There you go. So, sorry. Well, you see, I'm clearly at work. Yeah, well, he's here. I just have to send him the link so he can come here and say Happy New Year to everybody. Because obviously he cannot enjoy himself. Copy there. Where are you? Are you here? And all right, Machines in the it's in your WhatsApp link. No. Yes, we are. Everybody's being played these days. Unfortunately, and that is and that is one of the things. I'm trying to get rid of them so we can go home, damn it.
I didn't see him calling, so I was like genuinely confused.
Confused? What way? He is confused. One day, someone suggested that one day I should get in a car with a camera on me. See, one thing you may not know about me, I have a dark side. I firmly believe, that you should take your aggressions out in traffic with intense and focused road rage by yelling at every bad driver there is, and thereby you will get home to your family all peaceful and calm and relaxed. Take your aggressions out in traffic, I say. Take them out on bad drivers, I say. The idiot in the Prius in front of you, I say. Those are the people you want to take your aggressions out on, so you are at peace and rested when you come home to your loved one. Right?
Now you know why I drive a four-wheel drive with a very large bumper.
I don't have a bumper on my car currently.
You still haven't fixed that.
Apparently, my mechanic is having a bit of a problem finding a white bumper for an E-Class. I'm like, fair enough. But I'll have that car until I die, because it never seems to die. It just bits and pieces fall off it when I run into heavier object than I on the freeway. And you love it when you run into a gigantic box on the freeway, and then you go to the entity in charge of cleaning up the freeway and say, "Oh, do you know who dropped the box there?" "Oh yeah." As it scattered its packing peanuts all over my front bumper, the packing label became stuck in my windshield wiper. You ass. It's like, gee, yeah, sure. Let me just go back and look through the shards. would I go to the Middle East if I have an opportunity? Do I get to have the 101st Airborne with me or someone? Because
Yeah, that's a bit sketchy. Uh-oh, what happened?
I don't know. Was it something else said? Oh, was it about the Middle East? Uh, I was just thinking about the Vegas shooting thing that we don't know everything about anyway. Want to go to the Middle East? I don't know what yes, maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, you can get away with it. I'm unusually American with all my tattoos. So, yeah, you could get away with it. Me, I
You
would
don't know
probably
what tattoos I have American flags on me on my body.
That's what I'm saying. I'm definitely uniquely American. So,
I just shouldn't wear shorts then. Yes, I have 2 lower leg sleeves, one with an American flag on it. So, but also the funny thing is when I'm here in God's own country, America, God bless America, I will be the first one to sit and pick on every politician, every stupid decision we make. I'll point it out. The moment I leave America, unlike certain politicians who go around the world bitching about their own country, I will all of a sudden become enamored in American flags with American flag helmets, American flags everywhere. I have American flag stickers on my rental car. and I'll become that guy. So yeah, no.
yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with a couple of the comments in the chat, though.
No, we need more stars. We need one or two more stars. Canadian?
Well,
I mean, Trudeau is not exactly running the country anyway, so we may as well just take him over.
You're not wrong.
But no, and it's funny because a lot of people, they don't seem to get the whole Trump humor, and it is just humor because he is just trolling Trudeau to a large extent, which is hilarious because so many people in the media doesn't get it. I never understood why people in the media, they just don't get the humor because they take the hook and the bait every time.
Right.
Who's what? Who's murdered? What do I miss now?
I said I was disagreeing with some of the comments in there. They're saying free Luigi, the guy that shot the.
That is an interesting. There's something wrong with that.
Well, it's kind of ironic, really, because if you think about it, that was the chosen healthcare provider for Obamacare. So,
oh well, you clearly have a target on. Oh, never mind.
Right.
No. Okay. There's no excuse for shooting down a family man in the middle of the road, back of the head. That's not how you deal with things. However, it doesn't mean that I don't understand where the sentiment may have arisen. But there's something else to this Luigi thing. I don't get it. First of all, so his gun is not set up proper. So he had to recycle. He doesn't have the mechanism for firing a semi-automatic with a silencer. And like, if you're going to go do a hit, which you clearly looked like this was a planned hit that was somewhat organized, why don't you have your gun set up proper? Is one thing I don't understand. He had to have. So I understand the casings were engraved, so he had to dispense at least 3 of the first rounds to get all the engraved casings out to leave them at the crime scene. That's pretty meditated. So why, again, didn't you have your gun set up? Then he gets arrested a state over with the gun, with the fake ID, with a manifesto. What the hell? He still said he didn't do it, but he clearly set himself up to be arrested. And now I've seen enough bad action movies to know that if you hit somebody, you get rid of the damn murder weapon. None of this makes sense. I don't get it. He wasn't an idiot.
Yes, that remains.
I mean, because you have angry because you have a bad back, I get it, but. And I get people, they get focused on somebody and the target is their focus, their rage on them. But either he was planning to get caught or he was planning on getting away. But none of those two scenarios play out.
Most
I mean,
likely planning on getting away, though.
Then he should have gotten rid of the damn murder weapon. He
But
had
he's
a whole thing.
not everybody's bright.
I mean, he just seems that with from what everybody says, education-wise, he's bright enough to know that. But yeah, okay, you don't learn common sense in Ivy League common schools. True. Uh, Actually, no, that is true, but still, that is like either even street scum criminals knows you get away with it. Yeah, I guess. What if the shooter was a girl? What if he wasn't the shooter?
Well,
Then he was the one.
there's literally been politicians and police officers that have gotten themselves caught because they weren't dumb enough to take care of the situation. Like you said, like a movie. Get rid of the evidence. Be able to plant the scene exactly as they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're talking about a kid barely out of his teens. Chances are he's not going to be smart enough to understand all this.
I mean,
But I'm not saying that I don't believe that he's possibly a patsy for something else. I think somebody talked him into it.
I mean, he got the idea.
I don't think he planned to do this on his own.
I'll take your word for it. Oh, those guys. Yeah, I know. That's the B team. So the interesting thing about that is the conference he was going to, that the healthcare conference, they still started on time despite him not being there. So clearly.
Yeah, they even raised his jumping flow.
And the next day they had a job ad up for a new CEO. Really? Couldn't you at least put the man in the ground before you start looking for his replacement? It almost seems like very cold-hearted and very soon. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that was a little odd. But I don't know. Maybe they were expecting him to not show up. I don't know. So something. It's funny because something is weird about that, and I'm still thinking. Speaking of freedom of information, and we talked about it earlier. Let's get some information.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to the Vegas shooter again? Because that whole situation, I didn't forget that just came and went real quick out of the news. 50 people got shot by one dude in a hotel room, then offed himself.
Which isn't out of the realms of possibility, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that's not been answered about that at all. Like what were his actual motives? Everybody leaves a motive. What were his motives? How was he not tagged by buying all this particular equipment? Who gave him the you know what I mean? There's a few things in there that just ain't right.
There's a Saudi angle to that as well. That I won't get into because the guy who works with the Saudis that I work with will one day tell you all about that. There's something else.
Well, that'd be nice.
And again, there was over 20-some-2 headshots, which is pretty damn many from that direction from one shooter who's just spraying and praying. But this is, again, there's just more to that than we have been told. Again, what about the Tennessee manifesto? That hasn't been released either, or did that come out? There's just, yeah. But I think that one of the things that you can say about the healthcare shooting, besides, yes, it's wrong to see that. I'm a little conflicted because depending on the wrongdoing, I think some people just no, not going to go there. There are certain types of criminals I think would be better off on death row one way or another. But I think it's also a sign that people are this popularity is that people are more and more fed up with a system that doesn't seem to work. And if they'll take this poor guy and shoot him and then chant on the killer, it's as much a symbol of the problems in the system and the indication that people are fed up and they're ready to reach out any which way they can. And now they see this guy as a new Robin Hood, which is, again, ridiculous, for doing something as opposed to just sitting and taking it. And it sets a kind of scary precedent of what's going to happen now.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what I brought up a while back about this was think about it in the way of, okay, you own a company. One, disgruntled person decides that they don't like you because, you sold them a cold, some cold fries or some shit.
Yeah.
And they decide to show up like, well, you know what? You need to die for that. That's my problem with it.
I mean, I would like to see some of the vile criminals around the world actually be expedited on death row instead, which I
Right.
see is something that around. Can we start getting rid of child molesters and rapists, please, just on a permanent level, instead of before we start killing white collar criminals? I mean, and Happy New Year to you guys out in Sweden as well, by the way. So before we get too mired in how horrible and evil the world is and how we need to fix everything. So what good things are coming next year? I mean, let's look at the positive. I'm expecting the economy to get better, which is my thought. What do you got for next year?
A few things. I'm finally starting to get somewhere with the museum project and everything else.
Yeah. Let me hear. What have you been doing to the museum? Now you got the logo up, and how's that coming?
It's coming slowly. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to want to do the website, and if we're going to have any sort of social media presence, which we probably will, because it's easier for the most part to deal with than a professional website. But we will have a professional website. But I don't know. There's a lot to get done. A lot of short videos and stuff like that we want to do. I'm still writing a mission statement right now, so it's still going to be probably another month or so before I actually get a chance to really unleash it.
Outstanding. And by the way, I'm having pickled herring as well tonight, because traditionally. Oh, you know what? What are you eating? What are you eating for dinner tonight for New Year's Eve?
Junk.
Fuck with. What we have had conversations about what do people traditionally eat for Christmas and New Year, and in Denmark we would eat pork roast. We would eat duck or goose as the mainstay. What do you guys eat for New Year's? What's traditional where you guys from? Usually for New Year's we'll eat fish. We used to eat fish. Smoked salmon. There you go. Roast beef. Well, that's all roast beef. You're Scotland, of course. Gwyneth, I just love that name. Gwyneth. It's a cool name. You made a hamburger for New Year's? Dear God, man. Thank you, William. Had a good. William, what are you having for New Year's? Tacos. Oh, Craig. Jesus, dude. Oh God, there's two of you.
Okay, I'm okay with that, but well, Christmas and stuff like that. It was actually
moose or moose.
German.
Was that a moose? Like the big thing with horns? Pizza.
Yep.
Damn. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Roast beef and potatoes. I dig it. Okay. Turkey fillet. Turkey was, yeah. I see that. That's historical. Salmon. Smoked salmon. Where are you, Mr. PH30? Countrywide. Oh, tamales. Tamales for New Year's.
Hey, whatever works. I mean, I'm doing finger food, my dude. I'm getting like the little twice baked potatoes.
This is everyday food. You can't eat everyday food on a holiday. You gotta something.
Well, like I said,
cabbage and chicken.
Like I said, Christmas was always German for us. So, and that's the way it was this year. So.
I mean, what am I doing? I have to do ribs because the Americans are showing up in my house and wanted ribs. They actually wanted ribs, macaroni and cheese, and hamburgers and hot dogs. And I said, nowhere on God's green earth am I serving hot dogs on freaking New Year's Eve. You get ribs, fine. And then I did I have a what's it called? Corned beef in the crock pot. Corned beef is really good and really easy in the crock pot. And then I'm doing
you cooking them ribs properly?
I have no idea.
You better not be boiling them ribs.
I'm turning the oven on when I get home. It's like, I mean, I'm working all day. I'm gonna go home and start cooking. And there's a lot of things I wanted to do. Um, Corned beef is awesome. It really, and it's easy. Like 12, 24 hours in the crock pot. Just let it sit all day. It's glorious.
Tomorrow, remember, tomorrow, the whole luck thing. You got to do the ham and beans.
Ham and beans.
Ham and beans.
Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing.
Well, tell me about the thing. Why?
How dare you?
Ribs in the crock pot?
Yeah, ham and beans is a good luck thing. It's eat ham and beans at the beginning of the year. Apparently, it's because you want to evacuate everything in your bowels. But that's it's a tradition.
I put the ribs in the crock pot. Would I? Sorry, I got my mind like blown here for a second. Sure, if I do the ribs in the crock pot, would I cover them? I would have to cover them, right?
In the crock pot, not necessarily.
That's a brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? I mean, obviously, next time I do it, I will claim to everybody that I did think about it.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the ham and beans recipe.
I don't have time for it because I'm sure done about it.
Necessity. You must do this.
Bangers and mash. Oh, I should have done mashed potatoes. Oh, I'm doing the sugar roasted potatoes too, I guess, because, well, I have them. And then the Italian is bringing over. The Italian's bringing something. I have no idea what I forgot. I can do some sausages too.
Baguettes.
And I kind of wanted white Weisswurst and then boil them, but I think the Austrian brought the wrong ones. You're technical savvy. I have a problem with my barbecue. My grill is going tango uniform on me. It will not. I have 3 burners, and it will only keep them all on low. I can't turn it up. It stays on low all the way through. I can't find a leak anywhere, so I don't know how that happened.
No, replacement valve. I've had the same thing. But then again, I really don't use propane and propane accessories. I still use charcoal.
So yeah, I can't do that where I live. So the propane the propane nozzle.
No, because they sell replacement parts for those. Your actual control might possibly be bad, or you got some debris in the line. But most likely it's going to be the valve. I've had
the control that goes on the tank, on the gas tank.
No, your control on the grill itself.
But there's 3 of them. They're all bad.
Are they all 3 doing the exact same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all light up, but they won't turn up.
Now you got to backtrack.
Well, one of them will turn up if I don't turn the other 2 on.
Well, they are in a series.
Yeah, they are, and it's the first one. So I think the easiest thing before I just toss it over the balcony would be to do the actual nozzle from the tank to the grill, and if that doesn't work, then it becomes internal stuff, and I think I'm just going to blow it up and get a new one.
Who eats snails? Sure. Sherman said, mind you, for Christmas I had snails, salmon, and rice. Sorry, dude, I don't do the escargot.
That's survival food to me too. Snails are survival food. Pierre, I'm not worried about the UFOs. They're not Project Bluebeam. They're not coming to kill us all. They're not starting World War III. There's something man-made that's flying around messing with people. And the people who really need to know what they are, they do need to know. They do know. They just haven't been bothered to tell us for whatever reason. I'm not really worried. But then again, I'm not overly worried about UFOs over New Jersey at all.
Close enough in Corruptus, yes. Well, yeah, the propane tank replacement, like D-Man just said, the valve replacement, that is a possibility. But since you say it's the first one that's not doing it, your first one in the line, because that's your first. It goes down.
Yeah.
They're all on the same line. They're not separate. So I know Corruptus. That's why I was laughing. But good call, by the way, though. But that's it's all in a series. So I'm with D-Man. It could be the tank valve itself, or it could be the first one in line.
Yeah, I'll
Just switch them around. They're all the same valve.
Spiders can get in there too. Spiders. Wouldn't they get blown out? Spiders? I mean, I have rats. I mean, we have all sorts of strange things. I live by the ocean, so there's all sorts of critters crawling around. What do you take on all the flying things that flies around and tries to be Independence Day?
Oh boy. Are we talking about the drones again? Come on.
That's why I was like, I'll just turn over and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Why are they in my house? I mean, what alien civilization would go to New Jersey first?
Right. Never mind. Not saying it.
I'm sorry, New Jersey. I've been there once. You have good coffee, but the weather's I did. You're in Jersey. The drone's like, T-Bird, you're in New Jersey. Sorry. But so what's going on with that whole thing? Is it overblown in the media?
I think like anything else, it's our military testing new equipment. They just don't want to tell anybody what it is.
It's like
I'm seriously thinking that direction, because they were slated to come out with a new new fast attacks and stuff like that a while back, and they never released any information on them. So
when did we start reclassifying? First, it became UFOs. That always worked for millions of years. Then became UAPs. And are we now classifying them as drones? If you tell me it's a drone, then it's man-made, and we know it's man-made, even if we don't know where it came from, right?
Right.
If they keep referring to them as drones, I really don't care what it is, because I'm not worried. If they said there's a bunch of UFOs flying around over New Jersey, that would get my attention slightly more, right?
Right.
But they're not saying that, so we know if they classify them as drones, we know they're man-made.
Did you see that one where that old man shot one down with a handgun?
He did.
Yeah, he got one, but it wasn't. It was actually a what was it? Not a Walmart. One of the big box stores delivery drones.
Yeah, no, they were testing that corridor with the delivery drone, but he got arrested too, didn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, he got it with a friggin' handgun. That's the best part.
Sidearm. See, that's what I'm thinking. If this was covert, well, then you block out the fucking lights on the drones. You don't fly around with blinking lights. I mean, even if I were to, which of course I never would, fly my drone over, slightly inaccessible areas, the little piece of tape goes over the blinking light, and it gets up high enough no one can see it. I mean, I would imagine, because I would, of course, never do something like that.
Well, if someone says that is illegal, don't try that. You're obviously not from the Midwest, especially the southern Midwest.
I mean, there's a thing about firing your handgun within city limits, which is probably what you get arrested for, more so than shooting the drone down. You can get we have over the facility here. We've got a couple of really high-powered BB guns that will take down a drone at some distance,
precisely,
without being illegal. He got done for shooting the little drone down, and yeah, that's what I mean. But was it for shooting down the drone, or for discharging a firearm within city limits? I'm guessing there's 2 counts on that one.
Yeah, destruction of property.
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you should have done a mail drone, I guess. But then again, every time I see those self-driving cars around here, I don't know, I just get trigger happy, because they bother the living crap out of me.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Every time I see an e-bike, I want to throw a stick through the front wheel. But
you should come out here. They keep tossing them in the ocean. But yeah, drones are distracting us from a UFO lot. But I think the UFOs we wouldn't be able to see unless they want us to. Do I have a magnet gun? Darcy, what is a magnet gun? 50 cal BB gun?
Yes.
That sounds severe. Sounds fun.
Yep. Or in my case, I have a giant air compressor in here that produces 175 psi at 34 CFM. So you can imagine what kind of things we can shoot out of a piece of black wall pipe.
Next time we do a war movie, why don't you come down and do the special effects and blow stuff up or blow stuff out of the air? I mean, shouldn't you?
Technically speaking, yes.
We get a magazine semi-automatic shotgun. That's a real thing, which is really cool. And I had a Saiga with a 50-round drum, semi-automatic shotgun, and I had to sell it because, well, I needed to pay rent years ago. I really regretted that because I can't get another one now.
Now, we didn't make a potato gun, Brett. We found out that one of those cast cannons that you can get that looks like the ones from the Civil War. We found out that a big block Chevrolet piston fits perfectly into the bore. So we were shooting a minivan with pistons. It was great. We also found out that if you put airbags in things, airbags make a mess.
Buffalo take down a 50 cal air gun rifle. Oh, .50. Oh, .50, not a 50 cal. Okay. It's like it would take a bit of air to point to pull out a 50 cal round, I would think. EMP bazooka. You know, I have a couple of adventures, and I've been talking about the directional EMP gun that I'm sure exists or can be made. That's what we talk about in Ukraine. Like, why can't you do a directional EMP? But apparently that's kind of hard.
Yeah, it spreads outwards. There's no real way to actually make it a directional.
U.S. laws of shooting down the drone is the same as shooting down light aircraft. Really? Is it illegal to shoot down drones?
Only if you get caught.
See,
everything is perfectly legal unless you get caught doing it.
Oh, hang on for a minute. You have a Tiger tank? Where? What? Did I just see Tiger tank? I need more information of this. Get in touch with me. Must see. It's not far from me. There's, as far as I knew, there's no Tiger tanks anywhere near, so I need to know. I expect email with an address and a zip code. Everybody's leaving. Too bad.
Well, T-Bird, he says FAA law says no drone shooting. Well, I already talked to one of them guys because my drone is big enough to have an FAA stamp, and it's antiquated and out of service now. But along those lines, I told one last year when I was talking to him, I said if my neighbor peeps over my backyard and hovers his drone at my wife who's sunbathing again, I was like, it's not going to be the drone. The drone will fall out of the sky eventually because I'm going to beat him to death with his own controller. And the guy's like, you can't do that. You can't even say that to us. I'm like, well, I just did. I'm being.
Do I need to move my cars at that time? Yeah, I mean, we have over the facility here. If drones show up, they get shut down.
Yeah,
preferably here. So they'll actually, and that's people that do surveillance and sometimes interested in what we do here, and they don't get to hover a while.
Well, one thing the guy did not say. You can do drone on drone warfare.
Let me know. I'm still doing a chat, so let me know. I'll come out for a minute. Is it that time?
Yeah, they're coming out right now.
All right, Machine, you're it for a second.
Okay.
You get to run the show. I get to go shoot down drones. I'll be right back.
So now I get to sit here and act like a there should be an elevation where drones are fair game. Yeah, I can agree with that. Drones just need to be better regulation. There's a lot of regulation on them now, especially over here in Corruptus. Like I said, my drone has to have an FAA stamp, and I have a certain ceiling that I couldn't go. I'm not supposed to go past because my drone actually can. The little ones and stuff like that, the hobby drones, they are now starting to regulate those because people are pissing a lot of people off with them. They're flying up to their houses, looking in their windows, stuff like that. And that seems to be the issue with what happened with us. Was this guy was a pervert, and his girlfriend didn't know he was doing this, and he was flying a drone over the top of our house and was hovering above us or above her. I was actually at a car show, and needless to say, I made it home in record time. And it wasn't going to end well. These are not drones, not all of them. Yeah, I can agree with that. Paintball tag unauthorized peeper drones. I prefer airsoft. A nice high powered airsoft, especially a fully automatic one. You toss enough little plastic BBs at it, you generally knocks them right out of the air. Or at least you would think so. Yeah, I know, Chris. I know they say it's the bullet they're worried about, but that's why you use non-lethals. Because gravity is a pain in the ass. What goes up must come down eventually. So what you're saying, Incorruptus, is I need to get me a hawk. I'd be okay with that. 12 gauge double barrel birdshot. Rock salt be better because it'd be less likely to fall down and hurt something. I could agree with that. Absolutely. 40 millimeter Bofors. I like the way you think, but I think the neighbors 5 miles away would be really pissed. Yeah, PH30. That's what I was referring to, and actually some of the ones that you get off that are off the shelf that are even just the battery powered ones. They've got enough thump. They'll fire a long distance. Water cannon is possible. Like I said, I've got one hell of an air compressor. It's 175 psi at 34 CFM. I could launch Volkswagens with it. Well, I got back as the authorities were there, Alan, and it was still fairly ugly. But they told him if he flew the drone over our area again and hovered, that he was going to have some problems. Well, like I said, mine is actually it's old, it's antiquated. It was a big bad drone, back in its day, but you can't really get parts for it anymore and stuff like that. I mean, there's a cult like following for them, but there's nothing you can do about like upgrading the camera or anything else like that. It does have a 3-axis, but I was just picturing. I told her, I said the next time he does that, I'm going to send my drone up. My drone has a much higher ceiling. I will just hover above his and just do a bottom drop. Just shut the drone off and let it just take his out. Be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I don't have my camera on. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, Fred. Put the camera on it so they couldn't even tell. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just flying the drone.
What have you done?
Oh, I've caused a lot of problems. We're still talking about how to take out drones.
Oh, good. I mean, I shotgun.
Well, we put a release arm on my drone is big enough that it can carry some significant weight. We actually flew over a buddy of ours' house and dropped a bag of dog shit on his truck.
What are you flying?
We bombed him. He's like, "You assholes!" He said he saw the little black dot come flying above and heard splat.
What do you fly?
Mine was a 3DR Solo. It was a really good sized drone. It was bigger than the DJIs, but it's antiquated. It's done. It's basically nothing more than a fancy wall hanger at this point.
I got like 4 DJIs of different sizes. They're actually pretty sturdy. They're easy flyers too.
I would like to get me another one. I don't need one necessarily as big as the one that I had. I was even thinking maybe a Mavic Mini, Mavic 2.
You want a Mini?
Yeah, I would actually totally take a Mini if I had one.
Well, I believe at last count I have 2. So why don't I give you a Mini and say Merry Christmas?
I'm okay with that. I usually don't like taking things, but I'll take.
Any complaints?
you
on
know,
this?
well, you know me by now. I'm usually the one trying to send you stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And actually, do you have any more dioramas left?
Yes, I have a couple. I made a couple more. I've got about three left of the Civil War, and I'm getting ready to make. I'll tell you about the other one off air because I don't want anybody to know about it yet.
Mhm.
But give me just a minute. I got to take this phone call, so I'll be right back.
Wrap it in a second. All right. So, Machine got a Christmas gift. Yeah, go.
Yep.
Jesus.
Second.
Where am I? Let's see. So you kind of want to come by and say hi to everybody and tell what's new and the latest of the world of government?
I like to talk for that. I am so glad to say hi. I think I may have one leaving the.
I can just send you a link and you can just jump on.
Yeah, one moment.
Where's the bloody thing? As you all remember, we started. That's one of the things we started doing on my road. Is Mike and I we started doing as my former police officer buddy. We started doing a lot of contemporary stuff about the things that were wrong with the system, but with what did we do last time? We talked about hacking. And we did that really interesting video about what hacking was, some of the different entities that was being hacked and what information was leaking and sort of what's going on. Yeah, I know I do need management. I mean, DJI is just really user friendly. They really are. If an idiot like me can fly the damn things without crashing too much. I'm a fan. So, and also they're fairly easy to deprogram, so you don't have to worry about restrictions. Because sometimes around Europe there are some very strange restrictions over areas that used to be military territory but is no longer, but the no-fly zone over them still persists, which is somewhat ridiculous. And of course, then there's some interesting forts that are right next to airports and stuff like that, as if that's a problem. I mean, come on. There's a place out in Poland I have to go reshoot because I didn't bring the right drone. Damn it. Chinese hackers. I mean, the Chinese are just moving in everywhere. And that's one thing that I will say about popular news. No flying will make me want to fly over too. We still haven't flown over Jonastal, but I am sort of on the impression that we probably could, because I don't see. I mean, theoretically, could if somebody was so inclined. Hey, and there's. Hey, buddy.
Oh,
Sitting down. So far, I haven't seen you forever. You can't hear me? Everyone else can hear me, I take it.
Got to figure out what's going on with my audio.
Well, you are. It is on your end. Yes, you guys can hear me, right? Well, they have so far. Otherwise, this would have been a really weird lip reading episode. You still can't hear me?
You know what?
Can you hear me?
No, I've got to fix my audio really quick. Yeah, but I'm just gonna make sure they get out really quick.
I can hear you though.
I figured that much. 1 second.
Finally, I see him. Yeah, I was like, it's very interesting, and there's some unlocked drones I would like to try to fly over some specific places, And I would also like to try to get a LiDAR drone, which is stupidly expensive. There's some fun toys that would be nice to have, and a lot of you guys have great suggestions of things we should do in places that I can't afford. However, hopefully, maybe with the sponsorship part, maybe we can get a sponsorship deal with somebody who have a LiDAR or GPR units that we can take into the field and start looking for places that would be interesting. To be honest. But yeah.
Hey, Tino, I've got audio now.
Oh, you can hear me. Outstanding.
Yeah.
And we can like see part of you.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing.
So what's latest in the new year? What are we looking forward to the new year?
A lot of hyped up nonsense stories.
Oh, well, that's kind of what I expected. Would they have anything to do with global politics or just domestic?
No, they're distractions from global politics, but all these stories are domestic. So, I mean, the latest and greatest example would be like the drone story in New Jersey. Big nothing burger, total military operation that we would never know why they need to do it anyway. And the media is hyping it up like it's the biggest story in the world. Meanwhile, Biden pardons how many people?
Well, way past 9,000.
A lot of which who have very interesting backgrounds. So, and crimes that they committed. It's a lot of distractions. That's basically all it is.
That's only going to get worse. The closer we get to him leaving, the more interesting people are going to get pardoned, which is a little troubling.
I mean, the latest and greatest is the bird flu thing. You know, price spike in eggs over here in the U.S. I don't know how it's going with other countries, but you're also they're basically echoing everything that they started saying with COVID when COVID first came out. And we've learned that a lot of that was a farce, and it was based off of incorrect science.
Oh, a lot of conspiracies have been proven to not actually be conspiracies over the past year or two.
You heard the joke, right? What's the difference between a conspiracy and the truth? 6 months.
Machine, why are you sitting next to camera? Thank you. You two never met officially, have you?
How you doing, Machine? Nice to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you too, man.
As you can see, the little title here says Mike. That's it. I don't have a fancy title like you guys. I need one though.
I mean, we give you a nickname. Would you like a nickname?
That'll probably come eventually.
He's already got one though. I mean, think about it. Down Periscope.
Really?
Mike. You not remember
that? I like your backdrop, by the way, Tina.
Oh, my right. Well, we got to get some semblance of normality in this country. That there's somebody who's somewhat cognizant and not incontinent in the White House.
I mean,
no argument.
The problem is nobody's in the White House.
No, it's an empty chair at the moment. Absolutely.
Yep. Hold on one second.
No one is there, are they? Or have been for a while.
Actually. Happy New Year. See you guys.
Oh, right.
Sorry about that.
Nobody has been in the White House. It's really interesting that I saw one of those interesting blue-haired people talking about how when Biden was in office, he did so much for the country, not like Trump is now, indicating that Trump is already president, which I thought is interesting because it really doesn't feel like Biden and that woman is in office at all, does it? It's like they're not there.
I've never seen a more absent administration. I think if you go back, he's taken more vacation days than he has working days throughout his whole time in 4 years in office. I mean that, and they have mock-up White House sets in different states so that they can do press briefs and, White House addresses from different locations, all seemingly being Washington, D.C., but that's provable when you go back and look at the backdrops for a lot of those press briefs, because in the backdrop you don't see the same trees, or it's different weather than what's in DC, or it's a golf course in one. So
You
who
mean
knows where he is? Yeah, I mean, if I were on vacation and they could put a mock-up White House set right there, oh, I'd do that. The best part about that is that I would do it in my board shorts, wearing the proper attire up top. That would be awesome.
I mean, we actually shot in one of them. We did I don't remember, a commercial or something where we had an Obama lookalike some years ago in a White House set in the Valley. So you're saying the trees in the White House lawn doesn't keep walking around?
Oh yeah, they tend to change more than yeah, they just change. I don't know. It's hard to explain. They're there, they're not there.
Or the windows. My favorite part's looking at the windows. Like, guys, you do realize that I-90 traffic is not behind that window, right?
Yeah. So I'm like so fixated right now on the backdrop that Tino's using. Like, what does he have in that behind you there?
It is the one. It is the one. I tend to overreach in my life. It's the closest thing I'll get to the White House.
But I think like a lot of the little minor details being, the little red button on the box that he has on the desk. It's there, and then a lot of the times it's not there, and then his whole desk changes, and like just the little things people don't notice, and then they call you crazy.
Yeah, the Resolute desk looks like it came from IKEA. Like, that is not the desk. I mean, come on. I was like, yeah, well, unless you actually see a glowing light underneath, because that's from the Clinton era. He left
Oh gosh.
You mean an
a little? He had a service button just underneath the front lip of the desk.
But Clinton also had a knee pad and a blanket under the table.
Yeah.
But it's kind of scary to think that for the past 4 years, we really haven't had a one person in charge, because none of those two were actually there running the country, which always leads to this terrifying thought: is who exactly have been running the country? I mean, it's no wonder things have gone to hell in a handbag.
Corporate interests, deep state or larger entities behind the scene.
But she's never been to Europe. That's still one of my favorite lines. Well, I've never been to Europe.
I know, right?
The borders are in Europe, you dumbass.
She's the border czar, except she doesn't cross the border herself.
I haven't been to Europe either. What's your point? Like, really? Oh, that's no Samuel L. Jackson president. No, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Well, remember they were having the pissing contest, and Trump went to McDonald's, worked at McDonald's, and stuff like that. Well, while he was doing that, she was doing Five Guys. I mean, working at Five Guys. Yeah.
For your European, Five Guys is a burger joint. We got a lot of Europeans here. They know. I don't think Five Guys.
What's kind of really, something that people don't really notice too much is how big of a role McDonald's. Now, I don't know if this is just some weird like advertising gimmick on the larger scale, but how big of a role McDonald's has had in the whole campaign and all this controversy and everything else that's been going on, like from Trump working there to God, I can't even think of it right now. From the shooter that the guy that shot the United Healthcare CEO, he was arrested at a McDonald's by an Officer Fry. Dude, and then you keep going. There's so much.
There's such a theory on that too, because of that. I'm like,
yeah, and you're like, dude, okay, like either McDonald's is behind saving America, or they're just they paid like a large amount to the interests that are, and they're advertising with them. Like, it's crazy.
McDonald's taking over the world.
Yeah. You know, and
That's
then you
why
had the photo with like Trump, Elon, and what's his face, the Speaker of the House. And they're all sitting at the table eating McDonald's. RFK. Meanwhile, RFK is railing against, you know, unhealthy food. And my God, you know, of course, yeah, they're eating McDonald's. Really?
Hey, I mean, I guess he's allowed to have a cheat day just like anybody else, but
Yeah.
but that's exactly what I said too. I'm like, really? Come on. I was like, you're sitting there talking about we need fresh this, fresh that, and you get the frozen pre-processed crap.
Oh,
You know,
I know, right?
Hey, you
Plus,
guys saw
there's
there's Five Guys in Paris? That's the most redeeming things I've heard about Paris for a long time.
well, now
Anyway.
we can get him to stop eating snails.
Oh, and
what do they
and it
call them?
tastes-
French fries over there.
Yeah, what do they call?
Chips.
Well, I asked
Yeah.
what our UK buddies call them. They call them chips.
Yeah.
They're not chips. They're fries.
Now I kind of feel like eating McDonald's now.
All the time.
God damn it! Now I'm
I'll
hungry.
pass on that one. I'll just watch it. I'll take the photo.
Oh, I mean, I'm sitting in the White House. I should be eating McDonald's. It seems like the right thing to do.
But
Hey! One of us has a burger joint, sir.
You
Definitely
do.
not a McDonald's.
I'll okay. So let's talk about food there for a minute. What do you put in your meat for your burger?
Fresh, straight from the source, actually.
But okay, you yank it out of the ass of a cow. I get that.
Pretty much.
But what do you put in it? What season? What the seasoning?
no.
There's it's a specific blend of you know the different bits of the animal there, but they're smash burgers. So you smash it down, actually, you know, it reaches out and creates the flavor.
Hang on for a minute. Say that again.
You have anything in the fridge?
Yes, in the plastic bag. I got all my stuff there.
They're gonna clean it out right now.
Well, tell them to leave the rest back, please, and the stuff in the drawer as well. God damn it!
They're trying to steal your food. We're talking about food, they're trying to steal your food.
I had to go grocery shopping at 5 o'clock this morning because when I'm done here, I'm going to go straight home to cook, and I'm really not going to go grocery shopping at 6 in the evening on New Year's. So I had to shop on the way to the office. No, other words, one of the things about hamburger meat is before you turn it into a hamburger, try to put a little A1 sauce, little chopped onions, maybe a little sweet barbecue, salt, pepper, seasoning, grind into. Because it'll give that's one of the things I miss around here is seasoning in the meat.
When we do home when we cook at home, yes, but when we do that at the restaurant, absolutely not, because it's been the same thing for 80 years. But it's like I said, it's the blend that we use, and of course, you know, the grill itself actually has, you know, like
So, what do you have in the drawer?
shoot him.
There was a salad in the drawer and some butter and a stick of cheese.
Astroglide,
And the bagels yours.
And the bagels as well, yes.
bananas.
Say that one more time. I cut you off.
And yes, the bagels. And if anybody takes my bagels, they will be murdered. I'm hungry. Why the hell are we cleaning up? Why are we cleaning up the office on New Year's Eve? Don't we have something better to do? Damn it!
I'm still focusing on the fact that you have a salad in there.
Yeah, well, it's been there honestly for like a week, and I haven't really bothered eating it yet for a reason.
Is it like gas station salad?
No, it's one of those mixed salads that you with all mixed greens, and then you stick dressing on there or something from the salad. It's green. I mean, geez, what am I, a sheep? It just doesn't do it for me. But
I'm a carnivore, sir. My food eats your food.
Oh, and then everything in the Ralph's bags.
But no, like I said, they're
And the dressing and the coffee.
you use real butter, you know, on the grill.
just run up there really quick and go get that stuff. I didn't know about that. I'm right here. I didn't know about the coffee or anything like that. I just got all the stuff in the drawer in your Ralph's bag.
Like, can people stop throwing out my food in this building?
They're
I'm trying to
cleaning.
take a hint.
It's what you call food that they're throwing out. It's not food.
Do you want me to go stop them really quick for that coffee? What coffee?
No, I really don't care. It's an iced coffee that's been sitting there for 4 months because I don't really like it, and I was going to pawn it off on someone. Unless you want the iced coffee, of course.
Remember
I'm
that
good. I'm
restaurant
good.
wine in the past.
Is it Emily and Mom cleaning?
Yeah.
Huh. On New Year's Eve, poor people. And what we're talking about McDonald's food, something.
Well, we were talking
Oh.
about pre-processed versus actual food.
Right.
Everything we make is fresh.
Of course.
Absolutely
We got to
fresh.
come up there. We got to come and meet with you at some point.
Yeah.
So,
Are you in the
well,
UK? Ian?
What's that?
Are you in the UK?
No,
he's very American.
very American.
Okay. That's what I was curious. I was like, wait, why does he say? Oh, so everything you make obviously is fresh. So
Yeah.
you're still in the US, but you're just more health aware.
Yeah, I'm
Everything
the quintessential Midwestern redneck. I like to blow shit
Nice.
up and do things that we're not supposed to obviously do legally.
Very cool. I like it.
I'm just the educated one who lives in a cornfield.
So I had a conversation that I figured you're the right person to ask. What is the difference between a redneck and a hillbilly?
The redneck wears shoes.
Is that the clinical definition, or is there more to it?
You know, the funny part about that is I don't even think that was meant that. I mean, I don't even think you meant to be funny with that one.
No,
It's just fact.
not that much of
Hard
it.
fact.
You've got your hierarchies, okay? You got your rednecks, you got your hillbillies, whatever.
Oh, crap.
They're all over the place, but you got to figure out where they're from. Like,
Sorry, audio cut out for me for a second.
yeah, I said you got to, there's hierarchies. You got to figure out where the rednecks and the hillbillies come from, which state, which area, and stuff like that. I mean, you got your backwoods,
Yeah, moonshiners.
yeah, Billy, Joe, Jim, Bob, and Oda May, Sally Sue have an F son. You got those people, and then you got guys like us who do actually branch out. Our family tree does have a few, tethers.
Jeez.
So are they depending on where you are? If the redneck will then focus over the hillbilly and vice versa, does it shift?
Pretty much. Both of them are sketchy as hell. I'm going to tell you that right now. But
So they don't come around here much, but
I've been to the Tennessee mountains. I did not want to stop my car there, even if there was a sofa sitting by the side road.
if you hear banjos, run. Not briskly walk, run, because you're about to have a bad day.
it's the skinwalkers.
Yeah. But no, it's like, we the standing joke around here is, like I said, I do literally. I mean, if I walk out this door right now, the wall that's right in front of me, like right there, if I walk out that door in 150 feet, I'm standing in the middle of a cornfield. Okay, that's where I'm
That's
at.
pretty cool.
But it's the standing joker with, at least with my friends and me, is I'm definitely redneck, but I don't do the whole giant cowboy hat with the Florida Georgia line country music and stuff like that playing in the background. I listen to death metal. So,
It's great music.
You don't listen to country rock?
no, because I have no desire to go hump a family member.
I actually like country.
Well, you like the new age country now. Old country was a lot better.
Exactly.
Bluegrass and all the original.
Merle
Yeah.
Haggard, stuff like that. That's country. This crap that they produce nowadays is just terrible.
And it's all got the same like drum beat in the background.
Yeah. Well, now it's all digitized too, and that drives me absolutely insane.
Dude, I mean, the
yeah,
problem
yeah.
too is, like, I feel like a lot of this talent isn't genuine because everyone's using auto-tune.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I grew up with Johnny
100%.
Cash.
I mean, dude, if I turned on auto-tune while I'm talking in this chat, it sounds like I'm singing.
I don't
It'd be
think I have
great.
that option. But you are the tech nerd here.
Incorruptus, I do have a cowboy hat. I'm just not talking about the big 10-gallon hat with the giant belt buckle and the rhinestone shirt and the pointed boots and that.
Adman, yeah, country had soul, but music in general had soul. All music had soul back in the day, which it really doesn't anymore. Morning.
He listens to country. That's horrifying.
I mean, it's like,
gosh.
No, I think
modern music doesn't have the soul it did just back in the 90s.
no.
Modern music,
Right, modern music has went to shit. I mean, it really has. When my even my playlist here on YouTube is insane and all over the place. I mean, you might have, like I said, like Merle Haggard, Muddy Waters, Buddy Guy, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and then it'll go from that to like Motley Crue and Ozzy to Slaughter to Prevail, Dimmu Borgir, stuff like that. I mean, it's all over the place. But Tom McDonald, things like that.
For country, you got to give it to Matt Keenan. He's good. He's done some good stuff. He has.
I'm grunting. Yes.
Come on, the call.
Hey, you're just about to get the gang. See, you thought you were going to be safe because you brought in Mike. No, Mike's on my side now, so you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, y'all don't understand. I mean, you can't say The Call was not a good song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad as hell because, I mean, country music is always depressing, mostly.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a couple of them out there that aren't too bad. I mean, there's a band that my father listens to that's actually not terrible at all, called Blackberry Smoke. They are not terrible at all. They definitely don't conform to the new age crap that you hear, like Douche Bentley or whatever those guys are. And
the fun thing is when I was in Czechia and Ukraine, both of the hanging out with some old dudes because they always know what they're doing. They were both playing local country music in the general theme of U.S. country music, just Czech country music, Ukrainian country music, and it was actually pretty good. It was still catchy in the same way country music should be, although you don't understand the lyrics. But it was kind of fun because you always think this was an American thing.
No, it's not. That's the crazy thing is it is universally accepted, but then again, so is metal music. I was in shock, and of course, they got put in prison in their country for like 5 years because they dared, play that kind of music. But there was a band in Iran, a heavy metal band in Iran. They're actually not terrible at all, but as soon as they started getting up there, start getting a little bit of notoriety and stuff, especially out of their country, outside their country, suddenly they were in prison for 5 years.
Gotta love that freedom.
Yeah.
All the blue-haired people.
Well, at least we can look forward to that in the new year. A little bit more freedom of speech around the world. A little bit more freedom around here.
I'm still torturing our friends in the UK. I do it once a month now. I was doing it once a week, but once a month I go to the parliamentary website and say, "Hey, the American's still waiting for his extradition."
I mean, they lost their damn minds over there, but we can't banned on about them for a while.
Well,
so is Trump going to get the hostages released the last couple of days before he takes office, just like before Carter Reagan?
If they're still breathing.
Is he going to repeat that history of 81?
If they're still breathing. I'm not sold that they're still alive.
I'm sure a lot of them aren't, but the ones who are they going to give them up right before Trump takes office just to avoid whatever comes, just like with Reagan? I think that would be an interesting repeat of history.
Right. And I can agree with that in a way, but I mean, think about it. Look what he did to the Iranian general. I mean, we basically killed him with the equivalent of a very fancy lawn dart.
Yeah, true. But
I
also, what are we going to do to get the hostages back that the Israelis haven't done? I mean, is there anywhere to send Delta that the Israelis haven't tried to go? Is more the question.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of thing. But I think it's going to be more of a, Hamas basically begging him to spare them what reprisals may be if they don't release them.
Yeah, I think there would be an also.
I don't think it's going to. I mean, remember what I mean. One of the biggest, pardon the expression here, dick swinging things I ever seen a president do, other than Reagan, was Reagan with Gaddafi. He's like, okay, dropped it right in the front of his house. He said, next one's not going to be a dud.
Yeah.
But when Trump was sitting there trying to negotiate the drawdown of Afghanistan, he showed the dude a picture of his house. I mean, he said, he goes, if you harm a single American anywhere or any of our allies, and he hands him a picture of his house, and he goes, I'll come to see you. And all of a sudden, for 18 months, we didn't have a single injury, a single death, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, there's the right way and the wrong way of doing it, but of course, you have to have somebody in charge with a pair of, swinging brass things to do that. But it also be interesting. Maybe the Navy is going to start taking some more action against Houthis, which I don't understand how we can have this little terror force sitting out there terrorizing the entire waterway, only with reactions.
Well, because the biggest pussy on the planet is running the country right now, or lack thereof of running the country.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say he's that. I'd just say he's not running the country.
No.
Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. The biggest female organ on the planet is actually going to be the guy up north.
Oh well, we're talking about camel toe. Yes, I guess you would be
more northern. Canada.
Oh God.
No, the biggest,
the biggest first
on the planet has got to be Trudeau.
Yeah, that guy.
I saw he was writing his.
This is the crazy part, is that when you really look at all this stuff, you just know that it has to be an act. Like, these people can't be this stupid. Like, how do you make it to the world stage and you say and do the things? Like, I was just watching a video on some of the stuff that's been happening in video games, how they've quickly, instead of being careful to offend their audience, they've gone gun-ho with so much of the woke BS that they're offending all of their audience.
Exactly.
And they don't care. It's just, it makes you think. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. Holding.
Yeah. What was he doing?
Holding some more. Still holding. No, he's absolutely right, though. I mean, this and the worst thing is the majority of the populace, and I'm talking across the globe, just do not give a shit about this this whole wokey stuff and everything else like that. They don't want nothing to do with it. And then you got places like he said, like the gaming industry or Disney and stuff like that, going, here, we're going to ram this down your throat. No pun intended.
Oh yeah. I mean, you talk to a lot of the execs that speak on that stuff now, when they used to be with the company, and they talk about how their biggest thing was making it appeasing to everyone across the board and not offending anyone at all. Now they don't even care. And it's like, that's what I'm saying, is like, even with like politicians, it's, how can they be doing these things completely oblivious to the fact that they know we don't like it? And that's what kind of like begs the question, like, how much of this is an act, and who's pulling the strings, and what's the idea behind all of it? Just to corrode cultural norms to the point where they can put themselves in complete control? Or is it just, there's something more going on?
But it's also interesting, if you look at the power centers, if you look at the individuals that are working as the UN or the EU or the American government, or each capital, each Western government, you're looking at a center of people who are advised by their group of people, who are advised by their group of people, but it's still a very narrow cross-section of the individual population. So they're sitting in their own little vacuum bubble. They only know what they know. They don't know what they haven't been told, because no one's telling them. It's as if they're completely separate from the reality that happens outside their government or outside their capital city. It's like they're completely clueless. They have no touch with reality. You saw that during the election. They have no touch, none. And
It's
like,
like all of the movie stars, the Hollywood stars that rail against the border wall, but you go to their houses and they've got like 20-foot, fences surrounding their yards. It's
it
insane.
was actually funny when Trump, he said he was talking about this streaming, and they were asking his son, like, who is these, or his grandson, like, who is these people, and should I go on that podcast or that? As if, yeah, at the point where a 14, 15-year-old kid has more common sense than most of the people advising those in government, because he's at least
Yeah.
paying attention.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's one thing that we are talking about military history usually. It was always suggested, well, it's been suggested since, that Hitler did not know everything that happened during the Third Reich. And some people say, oh, he knew a lot, but I have no problem seeing that, yes, people lied to him or kept things from him. It's not like he could Google things and say, what did Himmler do today? So you look at politicians today, I think there's an amazing amount of things they have no clue about. So you're thinking, what do our leaders really know? And I don't think there's been any doubt that that Biden and Kamala was never the ones running the government. Never. There was always a committee behind them that was doing these things, and that's the scary part. I mean, everything Biden has done and signed into law and talked about, railed about, are things he has always stood firm against his whole career. I don't like him. He's a bit of a douchebag, he's a bit of a criminal, a bit of a perv, but he's always stood firm against certain things. Like, he was always in favor of the death penalty. Now he pardons all these federal criminals. He's done all the things against what he always did. That's weird.
Including Chester's. He pardoned one of the biggest.
Oh,
yeah. He knows which one I'm talking about too. Like, go ahead and pardon him. Let him outside, and we'll figure.
The Chinese guy, right? Yeah.
Again, Midwestern redneck. There's a wood chipper and a pig farm.
Yeah, pick your poison. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, he did that. I mean, dude, the people that he pardoned outside of the ones that the news reported that, they were favoring being pardoned, like, they completely glossed over that. Meanwhile, they're reporting, more so on stupid stories. And this is what I think I was initially talking about, was the stuff like the drones flying around New Jersey that have been flying around New Jersey for years, generally associated with Space Force, but like the media is spinning it into a big nothing burger. So it's just
right.
I think, like I had said before, is our news cycle prior to the age of the internet, at least where it is now, our news cycles used to be a lot shorter than they are now. They've rapidly sped up the news cycles to the point where they can memory hole a story from yesterday into like years ago, and you'll be thinking, you won't even think about it for the next 2 months.
Well, the object of media back then was to reflect its time too, not to be a propaganda machine.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that's going on right now makes the Pravda and the Goebbels experiment, look like child's play.
Oh, they would be so proud if they could do what they're doing today.
And it's go ahead.
But the problem is also the people who have been watching. And I think that's the major change over the last couple of years. Now people watching news, watching media, watching the legacy instruments, even the historians, are now starting to question what they've been told, at least if they're somewhat balanced. And it's interesting because I hear from some of the Europeans, they're kind of watching us because we sort of woke up over here because it became so apparent that we've been lied to, because they keep getting caught in lies if you pay just a little attention. But the Europeans are now going, oh, what is wrong with you guys over there? You see conspiracies everywhere. And I said, well, yes, but we are seeing them disproven true time and again. Why don't you? We live in a time where we're now questioning things because people have worked for so long dumbed down to believe and only remember the 15 minutes back. After all, look at how many of the people who completely destroyed businesses and families during COVID was voted back into office. Did you forget what they did to you a couple of years ago? And people do. And that's the most amazing thing, is you have politicians that screw up time and time again, or they get kicked out for raping somebody or doing drugs or committing crime. Then a couple of years later, they come back rehabilitated. did you forget what they did? And that's the scary thing in this news cycle. People did just forget. And that I don't understand.
Uh,
I think there was a political scientist that had talked about like how one of the biggest achievements of corporate elite was removing dads from the farms and moving moms into the workforce. And basically, ultimate goal, destruction of the family unit, which had to do with also all this huge LGBTQ push when nobody really cared about it, circa, 2015. And then all of a sudden it became a thing.
And it's
So,
interesting because that was one of the things that was the keystone of the communists after the Russian Revolution. They started, it was this country's children, and they moved into schools. Moms could go to work at the factories. That was communism. That was Marxism. And I'm saying this new world agenda is just another facelift of neo-Marxism. It just shifts depending on where it could. I mean, communism is not going to come to your door and says, we're going to impoverish you and terrorize you and take everything you have. Communism come and say, we're going to set you free and make you all equal and give you all this stuff. But that's never what happens. So they have to lie, they have to repackage it to enforce the undertrodden or those who feel that they are wrong. So they will rise up against the masses and basically destroy an established hierarchy of normal, commonsensical society. That sounded kind of good.
You said normal and in common sense, and then neither one of those go together.
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that. I lost there.
I'm going to find the craziest poem that sounds the most ridiculous, and I'm just going to have Tino read it, and it will sound official.
Ah.
You have that voice. No, I'm messing.
I'm not running for office, damn it. Nobody would want me in office. Things would happen. But then again, if I was in office, if I was in office and after about 1 month, there would be no more rapes anywhere in the country. There would be no more violent crimes against women ever.
I just thought it was really, really interesting and profound what Mike Flynn had said a while back was that, we've gotten so used to electing politicians for the politician position instead of electing, hardworking Americans for the politician position. Yeah. And they basically serve these people that they want us to vote for on a platter, and we fall hook, line, and sinker for it, and we think that those are the only people we have to vote for. I mean, look at the people. I mean, Trump is probably the biggest example of this. Is he was never a politician. He was a businessman, and he kind of just knew how things worked, and he tried to fix things based off of that. I mean, we'll really see what happens with this next 4 years, but they basically turned on him from one day to the next, which is really interesting to see. And it's crazy to me that a lot of people say that never happened, and it's like, what? But they loved him. He's got all these pictures with Jesse Jackson and everyone. He's gotten awards from all different cultures, and now all of a sudden they hate him because he's a politician and he's exposing all their BS, and he's actually popular.
Yeah, but it's not like this time. It doesn't feel like last time. This time it seems that I don't know what does it mean, but does it seem like more people are just kind of fallen into line with, thank God, like, with it being a good thing? It's like it's okay now. We have like an adult back in the office. All the world leaders are already going to him for meetings. They're not even waiting. Well, everyone is ignoring whoever is supposed to be in the White House. They've also to commonsensical governance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever anyone wants to call the last 4 years, and I know there are a lot of theories and ideas behind what actually happened starting in 2020 up until now. I mean, it was a huge eye-opener for people left, right, and center on like the ridiculousness of what the government's been doing and everything that basically how it can just spiral out of control so easily. There's wars all over the place. Inflation is insane. We've got a bunch of different, pandemics. It's just, Hopefully, it was an eye opener to people. And like you said, now that an adult's back in,
I couldn't afford 4 more years of a Democrat government. I couldn't, because no one can. Okay, out you guys out in the rest of the world, in Europe, for instance. How are you feeling the tone in the media in general for now that Trump is coming back? Are the media still hammering on him for BS, or has it become more positive? What are you hearing in Europe? I'm curious. I know the Polish love it, so you don't have to. We know you.
yeah, the amount of rhinos that you see too, and I think Volt just mentioned it. It's insane. But everybody, for their interest, is going to align with Trump right now, just to try to get their foot in the door. Hopefully, they like I said, hopefully this isn't an act and they see right through the BS. I mean, you've already identified the rhinos. At least we have. If the public can figure it out, then like, why don't they see it? The FBI, the CIA, these other, agencies that are supposed to be law enforcement for the U.S.
They are.
We know
them.
there's problems at the border. Why isn't anyone doing anything about it?
Yeah.
So
It's not
it's pretty
lucrative.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not lucrative.
Yeah, bad for business. Like I think it was kind of speculated that a lot of the Indian tribal land and those entities are largely involved in a lot of the human trafficking because they don't have to abide by U.S. law to a certain extent.
yeah,
So those corporations are being funneled through Indian land, and they're like facilitating it and then sending them off land to transport and help with trafficking. I think James O'Keefe and his OMG channel, they went over some of that stuff. I've heard about it from friends and whatnot. But give me 1 second here. Sorry, guys.
that's Bird. I already know who's calling him.
Yeah, you missed all the fun in chat anyway. I'm pretty sure I scarred a few people for life.
Of course. But yeah, I mean, I have so much respect for the Polish. They have some ministers that is awesome. But let me throw something at you. So
Yeah.
Syria, is that the last color revolution they could manage to squeeze out one way or another before Trump came in?
I believe so. Yeah. I really think that we're onto something with that.
Because it doesn't. All of a sudden happened, and that kind of it troubles me a little bit, because I know, fine, he was a bad guy. I get it, but what is he being replaced by? The former head of a terrorist organization? I'm not sure that's going to be much better for the Syrian people. I'm actually kind of afraid it's going to be a lot worse. But I don't know enough. But that's kind of what it looks like.
I didn't realize I had access to your chat on the side over here, so I actually was trying to track it a bit. But I saw the question by Incorruptus.
Hello.
You know what? I jumped on the chat thinking I was just going to say hi and bye, and here I am an hour later.
Well, and the first thing he does when he jumps in and notices the chat room is we're sitting there making dick jokes. There's like a page worth of dick jokes in there right now.
But no, Incorruptus asked, will there be more attempts taken on Trump's life in 2025? Predict, please. I thought that's an interesting one. I think.
You go. No, you go first.
No, mine's going to be long-winded, and I'm just going to
go
crazy.
Let's hear what you got to say there, Flatfoot.
You start off the rabbit hole before I just destroy it. So
no, I think we may go in a different rabbit hole, so I'll let you go first. Come on, young man.
The reality is, and the interesting thing to think about is that of the attempts that we know about, there has probably been a lot more, but we only hear about the ones that they tell us about. That and or the ones that happen in public. But like at his rally, obviously, which was very public, there's a lot of theories behind that. The two that they threw out at Mar-a-Lago and whatnot. But a lot of that has to do with, in my opinion, is there are entities within the upper echelons of our FBI and other agencies that are communicating with international entities that are sharing some of this information and basically planning some of these things. The reality is the news will only report on, or they will only let out the ones that they want us to hear about. And the one that worked, I guess, obviously in Trump's best interest was, I guess we were all watching the one at his rally.
Yes.
I think there has probably been some, but they don't publicize all of them. There were probably some in his first 4 years in office, and they weren't publicized.
They couldn't
And
hide.
And yeah,
I will back that up with saying, because of my years in personal protection and being around other personal protective agents, around agencies, when Obama was in office and everybody was talking about the great Obama everybody loved, there was multiple attempts on his life, but they were always covered up for that very reason, because they wanted to maintain the idea that he was so popular and so great that nobody would probably, and a lot of people tried to get rid of him.
Right. Same situation with now, though, is that they couldn't. There was only one necessary attempt that they couldn't hide, and that was when the guy shot at the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and when you think about it too, is it's right before election season. You know, it just makes for a good story to let it be publicized. There's no way the news can spin it in a bad way. Granted, the news was still spinning it in a bad way, which is kind of interesting.
You mean like when they posted an article after the shooting? Trump was escorted off stage due to a loud noise in the crowd.
Yeah.
Your question there, Incorruptus.
It's amazing what they will stoop to no low. They have the lows the media have stooped to is breathtaking.
Oh yeah.
But to answer the question, I don't think there will be any assassination attempts on him in 2025, because if there are, depends on how events unfold, but it depends if they were to kill Trump, that would lend a whole lot of credence to MAGA. That would lend a whole lot of more fuel to the fire of doing what he started doing. He would be a martyr, and then they would be stuck with J.D. Vance, who is arguable in their mind. He's far more religious than Trump is. He would go harder after some of the key points that I don't think Trump would hit so hard. And I think I think it wouldn't be in their interest at this point. That's just my guess, of course.
Another thing too to think about is that if they actually believe that Trump was solely behind his movement and his ideas and had full control over everything he was doing, they probably would off him, because then you would end it by cutting the snake's head off. But I don't think Trump is obviously the main player in his own story. He's being helped and aided by other entities.
They all are.
Yeah. So it wouldn't do them any good to take out Trump if, you know, it's like you cut off the head of the snake and you get like 7 more that come out of, you know. I think they know making a martyr out of Trump will only hurt them more than trying to just discredit him. And that has so far been futile for him. So,
and it might open up, like somebody said, to Trump's son. And I think you would be much better off having Trump in office than his son, because his son is ready to breathe fire if he became president. I don't think he would be as diplomatic in many instances as Trump is.
It was staged to promote The Apprentice. I like that. Oh, geez.
Well, I guess we'll see.
Your chat is pretty off the hook. I like it.
Well, you should join more often. So, I mean, should we let people go off actually do New Year and get drunk like they're supposed to? Okay, all right. You want to do the Trump versus Elon thing? Because go, take it.
Who, what are we hitting on here with Trump and Elon?
I mean, that how the media is trying to pit them against each other.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
misconceptions of their relationship and what they're actually doing.
I'm gonna see if I can actually if I can link a video in the chat here. The Ghost in the Machine video. It was a very interesting video put out by Fourth PSYOP Group that talks about, I guess, New Age warfare and kind of shows you that. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry, guys.
Oh. Oh.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year for me. Soon we'll be stuck here all alone.
Bye.
Oh, you saw that, yeah.
Bye.
Now that they've finally done throwing out all my food. I don't know why on this base, no matter what I put in the refrigerator here, it disappears. It doesn't get eaten, they just throw it out. It's like, I think the cleaner here hates me. I think I'm fat or something. I'm not sure what. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. Because every time I put food up there, it disappears. I never see it again. All right, go on.
Is that there?
Yeah, no, sorry, brother.
No, go ahead.
Hold on, let me connect to this chat so I can actually talk. But basically, this video was put out by Fourth PSYOP Group. It was kind of hinted towards by NSA on Twitter at the time that it came out, and Trump. But it was basically, it's a video about we're having. Oh, well, Tino, I'm going to send you the link if you can drop it in the chat because I can't connect right now. But it just talks about basically psyops and basically what they call psy war, or just that type of warfare, and how a lot of it just takes place on the mainstream. So you have to see the video. It's kind of hard to explain if you're not familiar with that whole idea.
Is that the one we played in our chat?
Did we? I mean, I don't know if everybody in the chat saw it. It's just a good video to hit on.
In the chat we did, we talked about on something we did it. That's the one, right?
Yes. Hold on one second. I'll send it to you right now on the. Oh, will you? Do I have to email it to you?
Email it.
Yeah, we have the chat so nobody can share links.
It's like I am. No, I think we can. Oh, I can. Yeah, I remember Tom always. I don't know if I'm hoping Tom is somewhere drunk off his ass. He sends me so much information to my WhatsApp as opposed to my email, so I always have to keep copy paste, send to my email.
Are we talking about El Diablo or a different Tom?
No, different Tom.
Austrian.
Okay.
Destroyer. My Tom.
Yep, Austrian Tom.
Oh, okay. We have a mutual buddy. His name is Tom, and he's pretty intense.
His name in public.
That isn't the one I refer to as Gucci gun, is it?
No,
probably not.
No.
Oh no, you have.
Oh, Tino, your package has arrived.
Outstanding.
And I send you the email. I wasn't talking about the email being the package. I was talking about your.
Well, my package is attached, so.
I say we're going right back to dick jokes. I see, because now we're talking.
Your cigars, dang it!
I posted. Can you guys out in the chat? Can you see this on the? Is this public?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it.
Yeah.
Well, okay then.
Oh yeah, this chat's gonna start getting real staticky, and it may cut out a little bit. You know, what was funny was the first time we started talking about this, and your stream just completely shut down.
Yeah, I remember we did the hacking one it was on my road, and it just went kicked us for a minute, but not really. It's interesting. Thank you. Link works outstanding. Yeah, it's an interesting video. Actually, we couldn't play it here because the music is copywritten.
Yeah,
that's actually copyright of the bloody music. So but we're not monetized on the other one, so we could play it there.
But that's an interesting video for any military entity to put out.
Yeah, it really is interesting.
And it
really
went under the radar for most people. The only people that really caught on to it were people that were really paying attention to a lot of the little specifics that were going on.
Yeah. Okay. Come back to see that. There it works. Where'd Machine go? Is he in the bathroom again?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's short, but you really have to pay attention to it. It's but anyway, I think where I was going for was you'll see the media has been looking for angles. So the mainstream media and the leftist media and the lefts, they lost the election hands down, and they're a bit demoralized. So now they're trying to find angles where they can sow dissension and they can try to create a narrative where that the administration is fighting, doing infighting, and all that BS. That's sort of what it looks like to me, because I don't think there's any disagreement within the ranks other than what they're trying to make. That's what the media does all the time, apparently.
Yeah, and I mean that's why I say I think when I first got on was that you're like, what's new in the world? Just a bunch of puff pieces made to distract you from what's actually going on. And that's basically what you'll get up until inauguration, and things will probably get more intense then. But the media can only hide so much,
As long as people look a little further than the 5-second headline. Because I mean, this what you will see over the in the future is an extreme media opposition of mostly fake stories to undermine whatever it is the administration is going to try to do. And you really have to dig through what they will be saying. They will be making up every excuse and every reason to come after the initiatives of this administration across the board. Just saying, don't buy it.
You know what? This is the first squadron in there. American politics is on par with the kindergarten drama produced by those in real power. What what that reminds me of was when I was, I think it was it Canada or the UK, their parliament, how they basically just like yell at each other and degrade each other, and it looks like a barroom fight before the fight. And then like somebody will slam a hammer, and then all of a sudden everyone shuts up, and then the next guy goes off the rails. It's wild. Like, I don't get how anybody could take that seriously. Yes.
Oh, did you see that? Was it 23andMe or one of those DNA sites might give away all the information that they already copied to the CIA?
The reality is they've already given it away. And as far as what let's see, who just said that? Sorry. Whole guys, we got some real problems coming with DNA tech. I think they've already started that. I think the fact that we're noticing it now, we're probably a generation behind. They've already injected us with whatever they wanted to thus far. And I guess we'll see the effects of that soon, or sooner or later. But what were we initially going to hit on?
Hey, T-Bird, I've given up my DNA multiple times, just so you know. Just not in a way.
And you have the children to prove it.
I have donated.
To the government?
No, well, it wasn't a government installation once.
Oh gosh.
What?
We're right back to dick jokes again. Here we go.
Welcome to the machine.
Well, I mean, it's New Year's Eve.
He's been on the show with us. We'll go from something absolutely 100% serious. The veins will be sticking out in your neck. You'll be just heated, talking about it, and the next minute, dick jokes.
Oh, we can't be serious on New Year's Eve.
That's like the story of my life. No, but I was about to hit on something interesting with this whole DNA, RNA junk, and I totally forgot it. So
everybody be quiet. Let him think.
You know, I
it,
say
it,
if you make a fist really hard, it helps you remember stuff. I don't know if that's complete
is it
bullshit or
working?
not. No, no.
But
I don't know if you have to do it around something or.
well, I mean, as long as I can only see your face, I don't care what you hold down there. But
He does have pants on, right?
I hope so. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm Joe Bidening this talk right now.
But it is true that some of the DNA testing services they've handed over a copy of all the samples that they've taken to.
I do remember what I was going to say now.
That's why I shut up.
But no, the databases for all those services have already been hacked and leaked in a bunch of different database breaches that it doesn't even matter. They tell you this now like it's a big deal, but it's already out there. I mean, not to mention the 23andMe server data bank is sitting right next to our government's data collection facility. So it's up in Utah somewhere. So it's like, what do you think? They're not sharing information? I mean, they're right next to each other. They're neighbors.
I mean, of course they are. I mean, so much of this.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I don't know. Right at the start of the whole Ukrainian thing, there were specific groups of people. I don't know if I could say them out loud on your stream here, but there were specific groups of people that were targeted, and then there were a bunch of breaches of those DNA services sites. And basically what they were saying is they were using those sites to target a very specific group of people within Ukraine. That's a pretty deep rabbit hole. Not so far-fetched when you actually look at the data that was extracted from that breach. I would have to go back and find the article if Google hasn't completely gotten rid of it. But there was a lot of validity to that one, which is kind of interesting. But those data services or those DNA services, and I just think they have a different purpose. It was almost like Facebook going online the day that LifeLog went offline, which was the CIA's planned application for collecting data from the public, of their own accord. So through profiles and whatnot.
Freely given.
Isn't it funny because if you go back to the original X-Files 20 years ago, you will see that being the very plot on how the government was collecting information on all citizens, and they're trying to track them with a chip implant that they no longer need because now everybody has a phone. They already gave up all the information, and it can be tracked all by their own means. But it's the same plot that was floated for the longest time.
Yeah.
Well, there's no arguments with that, though. I mean, there really isn't, because that's exactly what they've been doing this entire time. They've been, like when people say, well, I don't have a social media because they listen. I'm like, they're already listening. It's in your pocket.
Yeah, you have a cell phone, buddy.
Yeah, you might as well get used to it. I mean, your car radio can hear it. Your wires in your house can actually hear it. We've tested that theory. We actually did that, where you can send radio waves over the wiring in your home.
It's interesting, and yes. So what was interesting was the technology for that was called power lining. So basically, using your power grid to use as like an Ethernet connect between one port to another port in your house. So you plug this thing into your power outlet, you plug your Ethernet cord into it, and then you go to another part in the house, plug it in again, and then you don't have to worry about the wiring. Stand by 1 second. I'm going to hit on that in just a moment.
Copy. We're still sort of working. But yeah, it's interesting how much, and it's true. But we all say that, well, I have nothing to hide. They can just listen, and most of us don't have anything to hide because they can just listen. However, every time we give up something, some freedom, some information, something about us, it never comes back. And then they'll grab a little more and a little more and a little more. And then all of a sudden you'll have eco-fencing around your house based on whatever whatever you have said or done. And that's why one of the things I ranted on about is new cars that have geofencing. Well, it doesn't bother. It's not a problem for you today that your car has geofencing that's not activated. That's not a big deal. But what if there's a flu season and all of a sudden they say, well, you can only go within a mile of your house, and then they lock your car to that. Now it becomes a problem.
That's why I drive older vehicles.
Okay, I see what he's doing. Let's keep an eye on. I gotta keep an eye on my partner here. Okay. So anyway, so I need more carrots. You know, that's what I did with my corned beef. I couldn't find it. I can't find cabbage. That's kind of I want to have anything to do with. So I just tossed a bucket of carrots in there. We had in Denmark for Christmas. We had this green kale that my great grandmother would grind up really, really, really fine. And there was some cream and maybe a little sugar, some stuff went in there. This spinach and it was really, really good. And unfortunately, I can never make it again, but they're all gone. So I have no idea how this was made. And I'm sure there's all these Christmas kale recipes in Denmark are all individual. So just because you're Danish and your great grandmother has one or grandmother have this recipe, it's not the same as my great grandmother's. And I don't know how they did it. Quadcore, yes, exactly. But it's done. Everyone does it differently in Denmark. So I don't know. Mike, who's the bogey? Sorry, looking at a thing that's hovering around us here. And it's just one of those. I don't know what came, and I definitely can't find it in America. I can't even find it in Denmark when I'm there, which is kind of a shame. Gotcha. No, it wasn't caramelized. She took, because I was a kid and I remember seeing her do it. She would run it through the hand grinder and she would just do it and then do it again and do it again and freeze it and do it again. So by the time it was processed, and there was probably some butter. I know there's some cream in there. I really don't know how she did it. It's one of those things. I think we'd all like to go back to our childhood foods again.
All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, power lining. It was basically being able to use your electrical grid in your house to transmit data. And it was a really effective way if you didn't want to run a data cable from your router or your modem over to your computer. And it's very possible to transmit data over your electric your house grid. So anyway, power lining it didn't become popular and it never really took off, but it kind of just went away completely. But it was a really good way of getting internet from one location to another in your house. And it's kind of interesting and suspicious at the same time, because now that they know everybody's talking about this, I would almost guess that they wouldn't want to promote something like that. So like you said, they can tap into your TVs, certain Samsung TVs, that stuff came out in WikiLeaks, all the exploit tools that the CIA was using and whatnot. But I mean, all that stuff's real. Certain electric cars and things that are connected to the internet, they have access to.
Well, we've used this as an example before. Like I said, we actually did that. We showed them that if you hook these two gator clips to your power wire in your house, we can send a signal through it. We proved that. We also proved that you could take a set of, even my cans right here. Let's say I throw these on my desk. They can instantly revert these and turn these into a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't they're like, no, that's not possible. I'm like, they're speakers. I'm like, watch. And I told them 1 second, and I disconnected the XLR on the microphone, took my headphones, plugged them into the quarter jack in my line, and started talking to the headphones. And they could hear me. I'm like, exactly.
And at the same time, some of this stuff sounds so far-fetched that when you hear other stories, people will inflate the possibilities without actually knowing what's actually plausible. And a good story that demonstrates this is that whole pager thing, the exploding pagers with
Yes.
in the Middle East.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm brain farting completely
So
right now.
savage.
Anyway,
It-
you can't reverse engineer in any way, shape, or form through programming a normal pager to make it explode because the battery is very small. So that tells you that they basically had their hands on that shipment that went to those countries, and what they said was I think ultimately what came out was that they modified them with
Yeah, they added a
explosives
small
inside.
100-some gram explosive charge to the battery. So
Yeah.
the battery
But
was
the
less.
theories that went crazy online were like, oh my gosh, they hacked it and made it blow up, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
the guys, it's not necessarily how it works. The worst they can do is shut the phone down or make the battery die. That's about the
Yeah.
best they can do.
But I mean, especially so, you go from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G and then 6G. It's just the higher the signal or the stronger the signal, the easier it is for them to pinpoint your location. And that's basically, I mean, the biggest thing with them probably progressing this as far as they have is now they're using like beamforming, in law enforcement to figure out people's location when they're trying to ping phones. So instead of getting a general like mile by mile radius of where somebody might be, you're getting like a very pinpointed, 10 by 10 square. So we're using this technology, unfortunately, to our own detriment. So yes, you are walking around with tracking devices in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the people tell you, oh, shut off your location. Why? You're pinging off of towers. They know where you're at anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, guys, there's at some point that the tinfoil hat's a little too thick. You know what I mean? It's just they don't understand that it's already far beyond that. There's really not much you can do in the way of slowing that down. They're already doing it. And just like that guy, there was a YouTube channel. I don't remember which one it was that actually did that. He would walk past his phone and say some random product intentionally, and not long after that, it would pop up on his phone.
Still happens. And
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
They say that it's also. Oh, they say that it's also really quick, Tina. Sorry, man. That it's also done by association with the people around you. So your phone is constantly pinging, whether you turn off Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or not. It's constantly pinging different nodes around you. And by association, if I'm hanging out with Tino and Tino likes, I can't even stick with cigars. Tino likes cigars.
I know where you were going with this.
I'm probably gonna get a cigar ad somewhere on my feed, at some point in time.
And it's true. My barber is right next to a diner. And every time I park in front of the diner, go to the barber, and I will get the Google request for a review of the restaurant. Because they can't figure out that I'm not in the restaurant, that I'm right next door. And it's like, why do you know where I am? Why do you care? I kept wondering why I kept getting requests for a review of this restaurant that I've never been to. And I realized because I park right next to it every time I go get a haircut.
Yep.
And that's so I mean, the only you can do, you leave your phone at home, or you can drive an old car, but then you're going to run into how many cameras around will be linked up with facial recognition. How many cameras around will read your license plate anyway? You're really going to have to, we don't even have to check in with your passport anymore at the airport because it'll just scan your face and show your passport. And you don't need to talk to anybody. They already know where you're coming and going. It's, who said penis enlargement?
It wasn't me, I swear.
It's like what?
Did somebody say penis enlargement?
Of course they did.
Hold on one second. I got to finish something really quick.
Yeah, I swear that one wasn't me. It wasn't me this time. Why are you all looking at me? I didn't do it.
So I mean, I guess that's why I like Eastern Europe so much, because they're a little bit further behind on this. You can actually feel a little bit more hidden. You know what? Most of my Cuban cigars I have hoarded over the years have become smoked, and they are really expensive. So I become a little more frugal and only spend my money on things that are actually related to filming stuff or history or books. Books are not getting any cheaper. Oh, there you go.
Are.
All right. Oh man. Well, so much for the quick high and by. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should go. I mean, have lunch or pretend to work or something.
Working up an appetite just staring at your faces.
Yeah, I'm kind of
And
hungry
more
too.
so this chat, but you know.
Well, we should do this soon again sometime. We should do this every month, actually, just for the hell of it. But how
I'll
about we
somehow
wish
change my
everybody?
name to make it more appealing. I mean,
Right. How about
Bob
we
would
wish
look better than
everybody,
Mike right now.
everybody have a happy new year and go out and get drunk and get laid and do fun things that people are supposed to do, and we'll find nutrition and you can smoke cigars. You're going to close the new year than we are, Machine.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock.
No, Cuban cigars goes in humidors, Pierre. They don't go in the closet, then they dry out.
That's for
All right,
Red.
you guys. Happy New Year and all.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Go get drunk, and we'll see you in the next year. It's going to be way more entertaining than this year. I promise.
You can give it 6 days or so.
Yeah, I just don't like you guys.